A moment of carelessness from the man, and he was dragged into the woods by a female demon lord afflicted with a love poison. The demon lord even kept complimenting his handsome looks. It turns out the man's name is Hee-yun. After reincarnating, he was sold to the Nine Nether Demon Palace as a child. He became a little mushroom-picking cook. He only needed to endure for another half a year to save enough money to buy his freedom. Then, the sky would be his to soar, and the sea his to leap. To hell with all demon sections. As a transmigrator, he naturally possessed a so-called golden finger. But no matter how many spirit power beads he collected, the system always prompted him to keep up the good work, and began to study it. Could it be that the Changming soul had some kind of resonance with the man before her? Wu Xiaoyan tried to guide the Changming soul to He-yun's lower abdomen, but she never expected that her natal magic treasure could completely merge with him. So, she excitedly instructed, Changming soul, help me keep an eye on this guy for now. He's not medicinal dregs. He's an excellent medicine. The scene changes. The inner hall of the demon palace. Wu Xiaoyan endured the pain, dragging her injured, graceful body, and finally returned to this place. At this moment, her heart was filled with resentment. The so-called righteous sects were so insidious with their methods. But then she discovered that her body was starting to shrink rapidly. The spirit power in her body was also visibly dissipating. When she came to the pool and saw her own reflection, she found that she had shrunk a lot, reverting to her appearance as a young girl. Wu Xiaoyan had no solution for now. She would have to wait until she went to annihilate their sect another day, and make them spit out the antidote. Afterwards, she tidied up her loose-fitting clothes a bit. But just then, the candles in the inner hall suddenly went out. A person leaped down from the eaves. This is the sect leader's forbidden ground. Trespassas vildi. The woman was once the feared leader of the demon sect, but now she had been afflicted with a strange poison. Although she had temporarily suppressed the poison after draining the man, she was still forced to revert to her child form. This also caused her to be mistaken for a petty thief by her capable subordinate. Although Wu Xiaoyan's cultivation had plummeted, her reflexes were still sharp. With just a single leap, she neutralized her subordinate's attack, even nimbly circling behind her. She reached out and tightly gripped her neck, then said word by word, Fong Yin. You can't even recognize me? Hearing the voice, Fong Yin's eyes widened as she carefully examined the person before her. Only then did she realize that the young girl in front of her was truly the sect leader. Seeing that Fong Yin recognized her, Wu Xiaoyan finally let her go. Then she turned indifferently and walked towards the high seat. Liliner, do you remember what I told you before I went into seclusion? I told you to manage the demon palace well. Don't cause me any trouble. I hate trouble the most. Regarding this reprimand, Fong Yin felt very wronged. Sect leader, Fong Yin is foolish. I didn't understand your meaning. Hearing this, Wu Xiaoyan immediately lifted Fong Yin's chin. You are foolish. Stupid. Incredibly stupid. Could it be that you leaked the location of my seclusion? I seem to recall telling only you. Hearing this, Fong Yin immediately hugged Wu Xiaoyan's feet. I wish I could lock you up and admire you all by myself. How could I possibly tell others your whereabouts? Only then did Wu Xiaoyan nod in satisfaction. Judging by the attacker's moves, it should be the Taisu sect. Right? The matter of me coming out of seclusion must be kept strictly confidential. Also, find an opportunity to give the Changming soul to the boy in the kitchen named Hee-yun. Fong Yin was stunned. The Changming soul is your most treasured item, sect leader. And there's a rumor circulating outside that whoever obtains the Changming soul will rule the world. Wu Xiaoyan immediately waved her hand impatiently, cutting her off. Just do as I say. No more nonsense. Also, prepare a set of ordinary clothes for me. I'm going to hide near Hee-yun. Just make the arrangements with Junyu Bo. Hearing this, Fong Yin immediately wailed, Sect leader. Why are you leaving again? Wu Xiaoyan was speechless. Act normal. Don't always be like a pervert. I'll be staying in the kitchen. What do you mean leaving? All right, go handle your business. Meanwhile, the drained Hee-yun finally woke up. After struggling to get up from the ground, he immediately recalled the terrifying memory from yesterday. He couldn't help but let out a wail that I'm no longer pure. Just then, the system suddenly sounded a notification. Congratulations, young Master Yin. You've earned another point. Hearing this, Hee-yun looked at the panel in confusion about what's going on. Where do the points come from? Then the system's notification sounded again. Total points, 100 million. Host goal has finally been achieved. Now upgrading the system for you. The host can take off at any time. And over at the kitchen of the Nine-Nether Demon Palace, a flame-feathered chicken was foraging for food, completely unaware that a pair of terrifying old hands was approaching it. While the flame-feathered chicken was being roasted, Ian also finally returned to the kitchen. Seeing Ian trying to sneak back to his room, the old man immediately asked, "Where have you been? Haven't seen you all day. What happened? Where are your clothes?" Ian was silent for a moment, then said aggrievedly, "Master, someone slept with me." The old man, however, just seasoned the roasted chicken on his own. Just that? Only then did Ian recount the whole story. "I went to the back mountain to dig for vegetables and ran into a senior sister from the Myriad Insect Valley. I don't know if she had a cultivation deviation, but she treated me like a great tonic. She took me for a whole day and night." After listening, the old man immediately showed a complicated expression. After a long while, he sighed, "You kid are truly a prodigy." Only then did he notice the roasted chicken. Speaking of which, aren't the flame-feathered chickens supposed to be offered to the various sect leaders? You roasted it secretly. Aren't you afraid they'll hang you up and beat you? But the old man didn't take it seriously at all. If you don't tell, and I don't tell, they won't know one is missing. As long as you keep your mouth shut, half is for you. It's just right to help you replenish your yang deficiency. Ian unhesitatingly promised he wouldn't say a word. Then the old man suddenly remembered something and spoke again. "Right, go to town tomorrow to buy some spices. The kitchen is running low on stock. Take it back to your room to eat. Rest early after you finish." Seeing Yun's weak figure, the old man couldn't help but sigh. The child has grown up. Can't keep him here. After speaking, the old man recalled Fong Yin coming to see him earlier. "I have a friend who needs to go undercover near Yun. I need you to find some excuse to send him down the mountain tomorrow." The old man spoke directly. "Has the sect leader come out of seclusion?" "I understand. Heaven knows, earth knows, I know, and the sect leader knows." Fong Yin. "But the sect leader is so old. She's truly vigorous for her age and cruel." The female demon, afflicted with a strange poison, was forced to revert to her child form. To restore her cultivation, she took the initiative to propose consummating their union with the man on the spot. But she didn't expect the man to have already prepared a straw mat. It turned out that just a moment ago, Hyun, under his master's arrangement, had gone down the mountain early in the morning to buy some spices. The depression from being drained had been completely swept away. It turned out that after returning to his dorm last night, he had secretly sworn, "Damn female demon lord, don't let me find you. Otherwise, I'll make you unable to walk." With that, he fiercely stuffed the half-roasted chicken into his mouth. However, he hadn't seen the woman's face clearly and couldn't find her at all. Besides, the small fries from a Myriad Insect Valley were said to be at least level 15. For a level 0 ordinary person like him, seeking revenge was undoubtedly a dream. Then he looked suspiciously at the roasted chicken in his hand. Can this chicken really replenish yang deficiency? Just as Yun was numbly eating the chicken, a notification suddenly sounded in his mind. System upgrade complete. To reward young Master Yun for over a decade of collecting spirit power beads as if it were a single day. A small gift as a token of respect. Click confirm to open the treasure chest. Although he didn't know what it was, he braced himself and clicked confirm. As the virtual treasure chest exploded, the notification sounded again. "Congratulations, young Master Yin. You have received a reward of 2 extra lives. Additionally, from this moment on, you will gain the talent to synthesize adventure fragments. Adventures are everywhere. Wishing young Master Yin an early ascent to paradise." Supplementary note: if you wish to level up, you can now consume your collected spirit power points to directly ascend to level 60. But Yin analyzed calmly. Jumping to level 60 all at once would be like a tall tree catching the wind. It would be great if there were magic tools or techniques to hide my level. Where can I get them? Just then, cries for help from not far away interrupted his thoughts. He saw Wu Xiaoyan, disguised as a little lowly, being relentlessly pursued by several bandits. Her target was obvious. She ran straight for Hyun, constantly shouting help, seeing Wu Xiaoyan captured by the bandits, who then looked at Hyun with a hopeful expression, wishing he would intervene. It made Hyun's sense of justice flare up instantly. Abducting a woman in broad daylight. Is there no law? but seeing the 8-pack abs on each of them, Hyun's legs instantly felt a little weak. But if he didn't save her, how could he join a righteous sect in the future if word got out? But with his level 0 cultivation, taking action would just be seeking death. At this point, Hyun could only choose to use his points to level up. Over 10 years of savings were wiped out in an instant. Anger rose in Hyun's heart with great power. I'll just consider this as building my resume for joining a righteous sect in the future. But unexpectedly, as soon as he landed, his foot slipped and he immediately tumbled down the steps. But to save face, he forcibly stabilized himself. This instantly shocked the 3 bandits on the spot. Eager to save her, Hyun was the first to shout, "Let that girl go." The bandit, with a terrified look, said, "You're a cultivator?" Hyun retorted, "This is near the 9 Nether Demon Palace. What do you think I am?" As soon as he finished speaking, the bandit immediately threw Wu Xia-yin away, leaving only the words, "Spare me, Taoist master. This girl is a gift for you." Ian was speechless. What's going on? It's over just like that. Besides, I didn't even do anything. So why did I spend 50 million spirit power points to level up? I didn't even need to level up. I could have just announced my affiliation, right? Then Ian quickly distanced himself. "Miss, you seem to be safe now. You should go back." But Wu Xia-yin tearfully threw herself into his arms. Why parents owed gambling debts and both hanged themselves. Now I'm being chased by creditors. I have nowhere to go. Young master, you saved me. If you don't mind, I'll devote my life to you. Of course, we can also consummate our union on the spot. It's all up to you, young master. Unexpectedly, these words hit a sore spot for Hyun. "Miss, it's because I no longer have that function. It's like this. Last night, I ate the flame-feathered chicken that my master roasted. In the middle of the night, I suddenly became aroused, just when I was about to take matters into my own hands. It turned out that whenever I tried to operate, I would get sharp pain in my stomach. I figure it must be the goo worm that Demonis planted in me acting up. I'm not really suited for cultivation anymore. Therefore, miss, you don't need to think about repaying me. Seeing how pitiful you are, just come with me to town first, and we'll figure something out." Seeing that Hyun wasn't sending her away, Wu Xia-yin quickly nodded, indicating she would listen to him. After a day's walk, the two finally arrived in town. But by now it was late, obviously not suitable for shopping. So Hyun said, "Let's find a place to rest. We can do the shopping tomorrow." But Hyun's next move left Wu Xia-yin stunned. He suddenly took out a straw mat and said generously, "You can sleep on the mat. I'll just lean against the wall and make do for the night, as long as you're bold enough." Even a demoness can take maternity leave, just because she discovered an inexplicable connection between the man and her natal magic treasure. The woman hid her identity, wanting to consummate their union on the spot. But she didn't expect Hyun to just lay out a mat on the floor and say, "I'm here. It's very safe. Go to sleep, Mississippi." This made Wu Xia-yin very annoyed. Is he even a man? How can he endure this? The next day at dawn, Hyun had already bought everything. Then he said he was preparing to find a decent family to entrust Wu Xia-yin to. Hearing this, Wu Xia-yin quickly grabbed him pitifully. "Young master, are you trying to send me away?" Hyun, helpless, had to pull Wu Xia-yin into a small alley. "You heard yesterday. I'm from the 9 Nether Demon sect. That place is not suitable for an innocent young girl like you. I'm thinking of your well-being, but I'm not like them. My goal is to buy my freedom from the kitchen and then take the entrance exam for the 9 Heavens Immortal sect at the end of the year." Although Wu Xia-yin wouldn't let Hyun run away, she still pretended to be pitiful. "Young master, I don't want to go anywhere but by your side." But Hyun still firmly refused. "The people of the demon sect, they kill without batting an eye. Every one of them is crazy. I'm living on thin ice there myself." But Wu Xia-yin suddenly clung to his arm. "Young master, I heard that you can't kill fellow sect members within the demon sect. At least my life won't be in danger. I have debts. Hiding in the demon sect is safer. Please, pretty please, don't abandon me." Hyun really couldn't bear to see the girl's tears. This is too pitiful, too heart-wrenching, too guilt-inducing. In the end, Hyun could only nod and agree helplessly, but the kitchen steward has to agree in the end. If he refuses, I can only send you down the mountain. Unexpectedly, his master agreed in one go, and said that the kitchen was short-staffed anyway. You can be in charge of her. With that, the old man left without looking back. This left Ian dumbfounded. He didn't expect it to be so simple. After coming to his senses, he spoke again. Then welcome to the kitchen of the 9 Nether Demon Palace. And Fang Yin, who was observing secretly, finally breathed a sigh of relief. The sect leader's infiltration is going smoothly. I should proceed with the next step of the plan. Soon night fell. The demon's sect was silent. But Wu Xia Yin quietly got up, then spread her divine sense to perceive her surroundings. After detecting sounds coming from various rooms in the kitchen, Wu Xia Yin reverted to her form as the Nine Nether Sect leader and leaped onto the roof. Elder Fong, Yin had long been waiting on the roof. She reported that she had spread the news that the Changming soul was in He Yun's hands. The spies within the sect would surely make a move soon. Meanwhile, He Yun suddenly walked out of his room. Although he felt very sleepy and wanted to continue sleeping, it was time to replenish some spirit power beads. Having used up 50 million at once, he felt a bit uneasy. After hearing Fong Yin's report, Wu Xia Yin nodded slightly. Find a chance in the next 2 days to give the Changming soul to He Yun. Don't let him get suspicious. I don't know if you both taught He Yun a cultivation technique. When he saved me from the bandits, he was clearly in the late-stage foundation establishment. But on the day I slept with him, he clearly had no spirit power. A complete, ordinary person. Could it be that Yubo also taught him a technique to hide his cultivation? And on He Yun's side, for the sake of spirit power beads, he was diligently picking spirit fruits. The noise he made picking fruits immediately alerted Wu Xia Yin. She promptly dismissed the elder and was preparing to quietly return to her room. Unexpectedly, the drunken spring breeze poison suddenly started to act up. She couldn't help but curse inwardly. Damn it. Why now of all times? The next second, she felt her whole body go weak and crashed heavily into the bushes next to He Yun. The moment He Yun saw her, his body trembled. Holy crap. How did I run into the female demon lord from the myriad insect valley again? Without any hesitation, he started to run, but he was easily caught by Wu Xia Yin. Little friend, we meet again. Not sleeping soundly at midnight. Why are you wandering outside? Could it be that you missed me? He Yun had learned his lesson. He just lay down and gave up resisting. Fellow senior sister, aren't you awake too? What? You want to torture me again today? Come on. But Wu Xia Yin just smiled lightly. This left He Yun speechless. What are you laughing at? Are you laughing because I can't beat you and can only surrender? Unexpectedly, Wu Xia Yin suddenly brought her pretty face close. Then she pressed down on He Yun's body and chuckled. I'm just laughing at how faded we are. But He Yun wasn't buying it. Cut the crap. You don't have much time. I'm also in the late-stage foundation establishment now. Don't force my hand. Hearing this, Wu Xia Yin immediately chuckled. What? Can't your incarnation last long today either? But He Yun said confidently, I will soon surpass your cultivation. When that time comes, you'll be the one underneath me. After hearing this, Xia Yin was stunned for a moment, then found this guy really interesting. Then Wu Xia Yin directly grabbed He Yun's clothes and violently tore them apart again. Then she revealed a playful smile. Brat, I'll be waiting. As long as you can fight a battle of endurance, even a demoness will turn into a cute girl. Just because the man was picking fruit in the middle of the night, a moment of carelessness led to him being pinned down by a gift from nature. After a fierce battle that lasted most of the night, Wu Xia Yin couldn't help but glance at He Yun with some surprise. You're still conscious after a whole night of passion. I'm really looking forward to you surpassing me. He Yun then asked aggrievedly, can the goo worm in my body be taken out now? If senior sister wants me as a medicinal catalyst, just say so. You don't have to force me every time. But Wu Xia Yin said no, that I'm a very suspicious person. I always feel empty if I don't leave something behind. As long as you remain chaste, the goo worm will sleep quietly. It makes no difference whether it's removed or not. At this moment, He Yun finally saw Wu Xia Yan's face clearly. He couldn't help but exclaim in sincere admiration. Fellow senior sister, you're actually quite good looking. Don't cover your eyes with your hair in the future. It makes you look like a female ghost. Hearing this, Wu Xia Yan's cheeks couldn't help but blush. She then turned her head away abruptly. Even if I slept with you, that doesn't mean you can push your luck, right? Don't tell anyone about what happened between us. And don't say you've seen me. If you dare to leak a single word, next time I'll send you straight to heaven. With that, Wu Xia Yin waved her jade-like hand and disappeared from before He Yun. Now, He Yun finally let out a long sigh of relief. But then He Yun was stunned by the scene before him. Something feels off. Why are there so many spirit power beads here? He unhesitatingly pounced on the spirit power beads, and the spirit power points exchanged by the system kept refreshing. A total of 10,000 points collected this time, with one adventure fragment as a gift. He Yun couldn't help but smile. This is an adventure? Could it be related to her? Looks like I need to sleep with her a few more times. Too bad I forgot to ask her name. The next day at dawn, his master hurriedly called Yin out. Come quickly and meet an elder of our sect. Elder, this apprentice of mine is the best at growing vegetables. Let him handle it. Fang Yin nodded indifferently. The sect leader is coming out of seclusion. This is the seed of her favorite vegetable. There's only one like this in 100 years. With that, Fang Yin handed over the Changming soul she got from the sect leader. Yin was completely bewildered and didn't dare to take it. Fang Yin didn't forget to add a friendly reminder. Take good care of it and cultivate it. If it's lost or damaged, you can prepare for a glorious end. Remember, if anything happens to it, 10 of your lives won't be enough to compensate. Yin could only take the Changming soul with trembling hands. In the end, Yin didn't dare to be negligent. He quickly chose the most fertile patch of soil and planted the seed. Wu Xiaoyan, having switched to her child form, suddenly walked over. Brother Yin, are you planting vegetables? Yin didn't dare say much and quickly tried to laugh it off. With the elder's warning, how could Yin dare to say more? I'm here to loosen the soil in the vegetable garden and take some soil back with me to cultivate new vegetables. Wu Xiaoyan couldn't help but cover her mouth and snicker. They want to help Brother Yin too. And so, the mighty leader of the demon sect worked alongside the kitchen hand. Soon, the two had filled a whole basket with vegetables. Seeing that it was about enough, Yin gestured, it's time to go back and cook for everyone. Unexpectedly, just as Yin turned around, he bumped right into his senior sister in green. After reacting, Yin quickly turned and asked, fellow disciple, are you okay? His mind was already shattering. Holy crap. How did I bump into a demon sect woman? She's not going to mess with me, is she? Fortunately, this senior sister in green was clearly different. She gently tucked her hair and indicated she was fine. But Wu Xiaoyan, seeing Yun's dazed expression, immediately reached out and pinched his waist hard. Then she said with a fake smile, why are you looking at her like that? Yin just smiled foolishly. She didn't hit me. This made Wu Xiaoyan even more speechless. You just bumped into her by accident. Why would she hit you? But Yin warned her seriously that you've just arrived at the 9 Nether Demon sect. You don't know how terrifying it is here yet. I grew up in this place. I've seen fellow disciples fight to the death over a chicken leg. Some female disciples get into huge fights over cheap rouge. In short, just remember, the people of the demon sect don't think normally. They won't reason with you. They'll make a life or death issue out of small things. Anyway, as long as you don't kill them, you're not breaking the sect rules. It's best to stay far away from them. Got it? I'm the one who brought you into the demon sect. I have to be responsible for you. When I've saved enough money to buy my freedom, I'll take you to join a righteous sect. Hearing this, Wu Xiaoyan immediately feigned excitement. Really? I'm so looking forward to it. Brother Yin, you're so reliable. Although she said that, she was sneering inwardly. You want to run away when you're my male favorite? Can you? You are mine in life, and you will be mine in death. A female cultivator from the demon sect wanted to have a dual cultivation session with the man, but unexpectedly, the man had already been drained by the female demon lord, causing him to be unmoved by any temptation. Just a moment ago, Wu Xiaoyan learned that Yin planned to leave the demon sect as soon as he saved enough ransom money. So after returning to the kitchen, she hinted, Master Jun, I've been here for a few days now. I've been very idle and feel a bit uneasy. If you have any work, just let me know. These words made Jun Yubo gulp and quickly laugh it off. There's not much work. Wu Xiaoyan's face instantly darkened. Then aren't I just freeloading? Yin suddenly suggested, Master, why not let little Wu Shan be my assistant? I've started cooking recently. Someone has to do the vegetable chopping. Jun Yubo nodded repeatedly without hesitation. Let's do that. This decision also made Wu Xiaoyan very satisfied. But just then, the woman in green suddenly walked into the kitchen. Master Jun, my master is hosting a banquet tonight. I'll have to trouble you to arrange for a cook to go to the joyful building to prepare the dishes. Yin recognized her at a glance as the one he had bumped into at the entrance of the vegetable garden. Jun Yubo stroked his chin and pondered. Wait a moment. Sect leader Shun likes spicy food. Let me see who's suitable. The woman also unintentionally noticed Yun's presence and suggested, Master Jun, why not let this young master prepare the dishes? What? Are you unwilling? Hearing this, Yin immediately waved his hands. It's not that I'm unwilling. I've only just started cooking. I'm not worthy of cooking for the sect leader. But the woman made the decision directly. It's him. I'll be waiting in the courtyard. Afterwards, He-yun and Wu Xia-yin followed the woman to the joyful building. But the sounds of panting and screaming from the surroundings left him speechless. Seeing his reaction, the woman chuckled lightly. The joyful building's main practice is the art of joyful union. The disciples in the sect all practice dual cultivation in pairs. Didn't you know, young master? Ian could only force a smile and reply, I've heard of it. But he didn't expect them to be cultivating in broad daylight. Shameless. Soon, Ian was led to the back kitchen of the joyful building. Then she patted Wu Xia-yan's head. Little girl, you can prepare the vegetables in the small kitchen. I'll take the young master to the wine cellar to get the wine for the sect leader's banquet. With that, the woman turned and gave Ian a faint smile. Young master, this way please. After the two left, Wu Xia-yan couldn't help but sigh softly, bumping into him in the vegetable garden, then logically using that brief encounter to make He-yun the cook. Now she wants him to go with her to get wine. It's either a real coincidence. The scene changes. The underground wine cellar. After walking for a long time, the woman suddenly held the lantern in front of He-yun. Young master, can you hold this for me? Then the woman skillfully opened a door not far away. After He-yun entered, she deftly locked the main door. He-yun quickly turned and asked, fellow disciple Ding, there's so much wine here. How much should we take? But the woman suddenly used her spirit power to conjure a large number of butterflies and chuckled. Young master, it's still early. Don't be in a hurry. The moment those butterflies touched He-yun, he instantly felt his legs lose their strength. The woman also took the opportunity to get close to He-yun. But then she felt something was off. He should have been affected by my art of joyful union. Why does his reaction feel wrong? Thinking of this, the woman unhesitatingly increased the output towards He-yun. He-yun, feeling sick from the fumes, immediately cursed in his heart. Holy crap. This woman is making me inhale secondhand smoke. Seeing He-yun coughing frantically, the woman was instantly dumbfounded that what's going on? He's not affected? A person with a stable mind is indeed not easy to control. It's still missing a catalyst. It seems I'll have to make a sacrifice and activate that catalyst. Thinking of this, the woman immediately pounced in front of He-yun and said breathlessly, Young master, only you and I are here. Why don't we let the dry wood meet the raging fire? Seeing that she was serious, He-yun immediately backed away repeatedly. Fellow disciple Ding, I haven't practiced your basic techniques. I can't dual cultivate. I'll die a violent death. If I die here, you won't be able to explain it. But the woman acted as if she didn't hear and instead asked, fellow disciple, am I beautiful? He-yun had no choice but to nod repeatedly. But he had no such inclination at all. The demoness of the valley of 10,000 insects had already eaten him clean. He was long past having any desires. Then, the woman suddenly lay on top of him. Why is your body so stiff? Are you shy? Or do you dislike me? Completely unmoved, He-yun asked in return, fellow disciple Ding, I'd like to know, where's the wine? His words deeply saddened the woman. The senior brothers and sisters of the joyful building only seek cultivation with no true feelings. What I want is your true heart. Upon hearing this, He-yun could no longer hold back. He directly flung her off him. It's not that I don't want to dual cultivate with you. I really don't have that function. You should find someone else. The beautiful female cultivator had taken the initiative to invite the man to play cards. But she didn't know the man had long been poisoned with a venomous goo by a demoness, causing him to be in a prolonged state of sage time. I'm sorry. I've already told you. I really don't have that function. Go find another man. He then quickly changed the subject. What kind of wine does sect leadership like? Help me find it. Also, give me a bottle of Huadiao wine. I need it for soup. Hearing this, the woman couldn't help but ask a soul-searching question. Little master, are you a virgin? He-yun's expression immediately became downcast. That kind of question is too personal. Forgive me, but I can't answer. But the woman began to ponder secretly. His legs went weak just now. It really looked like he was hit by the mating art. I tempted him so much afterward, yet he was completely unmoved. The mating art must have failed. Only someone with a truly pure mind wouldn't be controlled by the mating art. Could he be really good? Meanwhile, He-yun's attention was completely drawn to a flash of golden light before him. Among the pile of wine jars, a golden spirit power pearl was unexpectedly hidden. He-yun felt he had struck it rich on this trip. He hurried forward to collect the spirit power pearl, gaining 5,000 points. And he triggered a serendipity reward, collecting 2 serendipity fragments. After that, He-yun immediately stood up and asked fellow disciple Ding, where's the wine you mentioned? Seeing the woman staring at him, He-yun quickly asked again, repeatedly, Aren't we here to find wine? Helpless, the woman had no choice but to take Yun's arm. Then she casually grabbed a jar of wine and explained, Master has a high tolerance for alcohol. You should carry 2 more jars. Then, the 2 of them left the wine cellar. But the woman's heart was filled with doubt. Why did the news that the Changming's soul is in this person's hands suddenly spread? Could it be a smokescreen? This person isn't controlled by the mating art, so his mind must be pure. He's completely unsuited for survival in the 9 Nether Demon Palace. The more I think about it, the stranger it gets. I must figure this out. Meanwhile, Heian thought to himself, I have 3 fragments now. If I trigger another serendipity, I might be able to piece together a talent. It seems serendipity is triggered by encountering things contrary to the everyday. That woman named Ding Ning must have used the mating art on me just now. Otherwise, my legs wouldn't have suddenly gone weak. This is something contrary to the everyday. Then I collected the Golden Spirit Power Pearl and triggered a serendipity. In other words, if I stay in the kitchen all the time and don't explore new scenes or trigger new events, it will be hard for me to trigger a serendipity. As they walked, Heian followed Ding Ning back to the kitchen. After putting down the wine, she reminded him the dishes need to be served starting at Chen hour. Don't forget, and Wu Xiaoyan, who was preparing the ingredients, heard the commotion and hurried out. Brother Heiyun, you're back. Seeing that it was getting late, Ding Ning prepared to leave. But before leaving, she suddenly walked up to Heiyun and extended a sincere invitation. I think you're a nice person. Let's go on an outing together in 2 days. Without a second thought, Heian nodded and agreed. After all, an outing meant unlocking a new map. Although this woman was strange, as long as the ironclad rule that fellow disciples cannot kill each other existed, my life wouldn't be in danger. Plus, since that demoness put a goo in me, the mating art has no effect. All in all, the pros outweigh the cons. Nearby, Wu Xiaoyan was secretly furious. You little brat, you don't want to live, do you? How dare you agree to another woman's? And when Ding Ning saw Heiyun agree, her face lit up with joy. Then it settled. I'll come find you at the kitchen in 2 days. Seeing Wu Xiaoyan suddenly storm off in a huff, Heian quickly turned and asked, Xiao Wu Shan, do you want to come with us? But Wu Xiaoyan directly picked up the kitchen knife in her hand. She fiercely chopped a carrot on the cutting board and then said coldly, I'm not going. It's not like I was invited. After speaking, the kitchen knife in Wu Xiaoyan's hand began to dance rapidly, and Heian's attention was immediately diverted. In just a short while, you've already prepared all the ingredients. I didn't expect you to be so skilled. Wu Xiaoyan was very annoyed by Heian's reaction. Brother, can't you tell I'm in a bad mood at all? If it weren't that the time to reveal my identity hasn't come, I'd really want to execute you on the spot right here. But Heian didn't notice at all. He turned and started stir-frying. After a busy period, that he returned to the kitchen. However, the sound of Wu Xiaoyan slamming the door as she entered, that made Jun Yubo sense a dangerous aura. So he quickly asked, Apprentice, what did you do to her? But Heian was very helpless. Who knows? On the way back, she just had a sour look on her face. Jun Yubo could only pat his shoulder helplessly. Young man, you're on your own. In her room, Wu Xiaoyan was already furious. She was exasperated at having met an idiot like Heian. Just then, the window creaked open. Then, Fang Yin let out a giggle. Leader, I'm here. The next second, she got stuck in the window. Wu Xiaoyan was very exasperated by this. You're a dignified acting leader. Can't you act like one? But Fang Yin continued her act. I just heard you calling for me, so I came in a hurry. Wu Xiaoyan quickly grabbed the hem of her dress stuck in the window and asked, No one followed you, right? Fang Yin immediately shook her head. Don't worry. What does the leader need me for? Do you want to kill someone? Annihilate a sect. Just give the order. Wu Xiaoyan asked in return, Do you know Ding Ning from the Joyful Building? A fellow senior disciple takes the initiative to invite a man on an outing. Unexpectedly, the man actually suggests wanting to try something new. The senior disciple has no choice but to reluctantly tie him up. Only then does the man express his satisfaction, saying he is ready. Not long ago, because Yin had agreed to Ding Ning's invitation for an outing, Wu Xiaoyan had quickly summoned Fang Yin and asked her if she knew Ding Ning's background. Fang Yin thought for a moment. This subordinate does have an impression of her. She is sect leader Shun's favorite disciple and has been in the sect for at least 10 years. Is the leader worried that Ding Ning's identity isn't clean? Wu Xiaoyan nodded slightly, but there's no evidence at the moment. Investigate her thoroughly. I also happen to want to check on the situation in our 9 Nether Demon Palace. But Fong Yin said with some concern, the Changming soul is your most precious possession, leader. Are you really at ease, letting Hien keep it for you? Wu Xia Yin gestured for her not to worry. Even if the Changming soul is stolen, it's meaningless in the hands of others. The outside world has no idea what it is. As long as it doesn't fall into the hands of that person from the 9 Heavens Immortal sect, it's fine. At the same time, Hien was holding the Changming soul, very puzzled. He wasn't sure if this thing was a seed or not, but he still buried it in a flower pot as the leader had instructed. But then he ran into another problem. Where should I put something this important? I can't just put it anywhere, right? But he soon had an idea. The most dangerous place is the safest. It's reasonable for me to put a potted plant on the windowsill, right? Besides, who in the sect would be so bored as to steal the leader's vegetables? After that, he didn't think about it anymore and went straight to sleep. The next day at dawn, everyone in the kitchen was already busy, and Ding Ning arrived as promised. She greeted He Yun enthusiastically as soon as she entered. Master, I've invited little Master He on an outing. Will you let him go? Jun Yubo pointed directly at He Yun. You could just ask him. And He Yun nodded without hesitation. All right. Seeing He Yun walk warmly towards Ding Ning, Jun Yubo quickly asked in a low voice, Leader, aren't you going? This was like bringing up the one topic he shouldn't have. Wu Xia Yin replied, very annoyed. Am I supposed to go and be a wet blanket? After speaking, she turned and left in a huff. Forget it. I'm going back to my room to sleep. The scene changes. He Yun and Ding Ning arrived at a secluded spot within the sect. The location Ding Ning chose had pleasant scenery, but He Yun was only focused on making some gains. Spirit power pearls. Serendipity. Where are you? However, Ding Ning was already getting impatient. Little Master aren't you tired of standing? Come sit over here with me. He Yun felt speechless about this. So he said bluntly, fellow disciple Ding, did you really ask me out on an outing just because you think I'm a nice person? If you have something on your mind, feel free to say it. I'll cooperate if I can, and if I can't, then I can't. At this, Ding Ning wasted no more time. She flipped over and came before He Yun. That day, I used the mating art on you, and you had no reaction at all. This shows that little Master, he has a pure mind. Our sect's mating art only displays its greatest effect when there is mutual affection. That kind of dual cultivation is more meaningful. Little Master, I asked you out and you didn't refuse. Does that mean you're also interested in me? If the gentleman is willing, then this humble lady is too. Why not ascend to the clouds with me and go to the world of ultimate bliss? But He Yun looked completely uninterested. Senior Sister Ding, this is too conventional. Are there any more special ways to play? The kind you don't normally see. Upon hearing this, Ding Ning immediately sneered inwardly. So he's not some pure-minded person after all, right? How could there be a good person in the demon sect? He must have felt the temptation in the cellar wasn't twisted enough and wants something more exciting. But He Yun's thoughts were the complete opposite. It's a rare chance to come out. I have to seize the opportunity to get a serendipity. Anyway, I don't have that function. I'll let her do whatever she wants. But Ding Ning, who had misunderstood, clearly couldn't wait any longer. Junior brother, no matter how twisted you want it, senior sister can satisfy you. He Yun was instantly dumbfounded upon hearing this. I don't have much experience. It's all up to you, senior sister. Although Ding Ning was smiling, she had already made up her mind. Since you're seeking excitement, I'll play along to the end. With this in mind, Ding Ning stood up from the ground. Junior brother, you're truly amusing. Wait a moment. I'll make some preparations. Then Ding Ning reached into her clothes and began to rummage around. Then she pulled out a long, red silk thread. She then wound the thread around her fingertips. Seeing this, He Yun was ecstatic inside. This move is unusual. Looks like I'm definitely hitting the jackpot today. Seeing He Yun's ecstatic expression, Ding Ning couldn't help but sneer inwardly, as expected of someone from the demon sect, truly lewd and perverted. Then she quickly flicked out the silk thread in her hand and tied He Yun up securely. This scene immediately made Wu Xia Yin, who was hiding and peeking from the shadows, grind her teeth in anger. This little brat, after becoming my man, he still thinks about cheating and playing such kinky games. His crime is punishable by death, unforgivable, death by 1,000 cuts, never to be reincarnated. After tying He Yun up, Ding Ning squatted beside him and said sweetly, Junior brother, do you still want something more twisted? Hearing this, He Yun nodded without hesitation. Senior sister Ding, I'm ready. I've decided to empty my mind and devote my whole self to you. Come on. A fellow senior disciple lures a man to the back mountain, all to obtain information about the Changming soul. Having gained nothing, the senior disciple even wants to kill him on the spot. Just now, after Yin was tied up by Ding Ning, that he expressed that he was ready to devote himself. This instantly made Ding Ning laugh so hard she couldn't close her mouth. "You're really humorous. If I had known you liked to play like this, that you should have told me back in the cellar." Meanwhile, Wu Xiaoyan watched as Ding Ning continuously groped He Yun. Her expression instantly turned ugly. "Damn it, has it started so quickly? What on earth are they saying? I can't hear a thing." Isn't that brat's expression a bit too exaggerated? He wasn't this shameless even when he was intimate with me. Seeing that the time was about right, Ding Ning stood up and said with a faint smile, "Junior brother, I'm coming." After speaking, she began to circulate her internal spirit energy and sneered inwardly. Tender heart 100 turns, third move, voice and emotions, secret lure. It can make people of a lower level than me reveal their true feelings. As long as I use this ability, the target will enter a dazed state. The next moment, a stream of purple spirit energy shot towards He Yun. After the purple spirit energy entered his body, He Yun instantly felt his mind go into a trance. Then he spoke with a dazed expression, "Where am I?" Hearing this, Ding Ning immediately smiled. "Junior brother, we're in the world of ultimate bliss. Junior brother, do you have any secrets you haven't told me? If you tell your senior sister your little secrets, I've prepared even more special games." He Yun responded without hesitation. "Yes, I have many little secrets. Let me tell you, senior sister. My name is He Yun. I come from another senior sister. Or maybe not. Anyway, I was born here. I was sold to the demon sect as a child, but I have a bright red heart of justice. I want to strive to join the righteous sect. I'm a good person." Ding Ning couldn't take it anymore. She snapped, "Stop. I don't want to hear these kinds of secrets. What is all this nonsense? I want something deeper, like the Changming soul or something." But He said he had never been to Changming Slope. This left Ding Ning speechless. "Are you playing dumb with me?" Meanwhile, Wu Xiaoyan couldn't watch any longer. "Lecture. He can't use what's down there, so he uses something else. It's really opened my eyes." Just then, a sharp pain suddenly shot through her chest. Even though she tried her best to endure it, she couldn't stop herself from spitting out a large mouthful of tomato sauce. Wu Xiaoyan's body went limp, and she collapsed to the ground. Is it acting up again? The Taishu Zhao's flower-drunk moon curse, plus the drunken spring breeze. Truly vicious. It acts up at random times, with unknown triggers. You old bastards. Wait until I get better. I'll settle the score with each and every one of you. The heart-piercing pain constantly coming from her chest made Wu Xiaoyan very uncomfortable. Meanwhile, He Yun finally came to his senses. "Senior Sister Ding, what just happened?" Then he was shocked to find that Ding Ning's expression was extremely ugly. So he asked tentatively, "Senior Sister Ding, what's wrong with you?" And Ding Ning finally couldn't hold back. She began to question him directly. "Who on earth are you?" Feeling uncomfortable from being shaken, He Yun subconsciously pushed her away. But Ding Ning relentlessly continued to press him. "Where is the Changming soul?" He Yun felt speechless about this. So annoying. "I came out specifically to find a serendipity, but I didn't get anything and even ran into someone who got the wrong person." So he stood up to leave. "Senior Sister Ding, we've been out for a while. We don't seem to be on the same page. Let's just go our separate ways." But when Ding Ning saw that He Yun wanted to return to the kitchen, that she thought about how this guy had already heard her mention the Changming soul, he absolutely could not be left alive. To eliminate the root of the problem, Ding Ning flew towards He Yun to kill him without hesitation. The man once again encounters the demoness in the dense forest. But this time, he turns the tables and wants to control the demoness. Just now, Ding Ning failed to find the whereabouts of the Changming soul and wanted to eliminate He Yun on the spot. But unexpectedly, a pebble suddenly shot out from the dense forest, hitting Ding Ning squarely on the forehead with incredible precision, forcefully interrupting her attack. Ding Ning immediately realized something was wrong. Is someone protecting him? Could it be that he wasn't affected by my skill at all, just now? Was all an act? This kid, it seems he's not just some kitchen cook. The news that the Changming soul is in his hands is definitely a groundless rumor. I can't expose my identity today. I'll settle the score with him another day. Meanwhile, seeing Ding Ning suddenly disappear, He Yun couldn't help but speculate to himself, the people from the Joyful Building are really snobs. Since they can't dual cultivate with me to improve their cultivation, they won't even give me a pleasant look. They even leave so abruptly. But I can't go back empty-handed like this. I haven't explored this dense forest yet. There might be a lot of spirit power pearls. It would be too much a loss to go back without getting anything. I must collect a huge wave of them before going back. But just as Yin was full of motivation, a sound suddenly came from not far away. Having suffered before, Yin quickly got into a stance and slowly approached the bushes. But he didn't expect the person on the ground to be his old flame. Seeing Wu Xia Yin with a dark face telling him to get lost, Yin immediately thought, oh no, this woman hasn't been following me the whole time, has she? Wherever I go, she goes. Yin then quickly squatted down and asked with concern, are you all right? But this made Wu Xia Yin even more annoyed. I said get lost. Can't you hear me? Afraid of being penetrated again, Yin quickly stopped in his tracks. Okay. I'll get lost. Since you're fine, I'll leave first. Seeing Yin actually leave, Wu Xia Yin suddenly felt wronged. I tell you to leave, and you just leave. And after I just helped you. Otherwise, you would have been killed by Ding Ning long ago. You damn bastard. But Yin was still worried about leaving Wu Xia Yin here alone. He quickly turned and walked back. After helping Wu Xia Yin up, he suddenly said, if you die, what about the goo insect in my body? Seeing that Yin was only thinking of himself, Wu Xia Yin was instantly annoyed. You don't need to worry about me. But Yin still insisted on taking care of her. We don't have any deep hatred for each other. Besides making me nourish your stomach, you haven't taken any other advantage of me. I can't just watch you die. Come on. Hearing this, Wu Xia Yin immediately replied, I don't need your pity. I don't need you anymore. I'm tired of you. After being rejected repeatedly, Yin didn't waste any more words. In that case, let's part ways. I won't ask you to help me draw out the goo insect either. Unexpectedly, just as Yin was leaving, Wu Xia Yin couldn't help but spit out a large mouthful of tomato sauce. And the sound of her falling to the ground made Yin quickly stop in his tracks. Now Yin was completely speechless. I say, are you capable or not? Seeing Wu Xia Yin just lying on the ground playing dead, Yin had no choice but to say helplessly, anyway, this isn't the first or second time for us. Let's hurry. Get over with quickly. I don't want to get involved either, but my conscience won't let me. In the end, you haven't truly harmed me. I can't watch you die here. At least not in front of my eyes. Seeing Yin pull her up, Wu Xia Yin was instantly annoyed. Aren't you afraid I'll kill you in a fit of anger? But Yin just smiled shamelessly. The one who's about to die right now is you, not me. Things having come to this, Wu Xia Yin couldn't afford to beat Sundara anymore. Stop talking. If you're going to do it, just do it. But Yin directly pinched her chin. Since you're the one begging me, you move yourself. That Sundara Demonis plays dead in front of the man. The man, with a heart of righteousness, resolutely decides to save the dying and heal the wounded. But the demonist Sundara attitude makes the man decide to be assertive for once. So he turned from passive to active. Since you're the one begging me, you move yourself. As the leader, how could Wu Xia Yin endure such humiliation? But to alleviate the potent poison erupting in her body, she endured the humiliation and began to move rapidly. But Yin felt it wasn't satisfying enough. Why are you holding back and not making sound? Can you relax like this? These words immediately made Wu Xia Yin flush with shame and anger. She unhesitatingly grabbed Yin's neck. Shut up. One more word of nonsense, and I'll strangle you. But not only was Yin not flustered, he even let out a sleazy laugh. I didn't know you liked to play this way. After a fierce battle, the potent poison in Wu Xia Yin's body was finally suppressed. But this time, she clearly felt that Yin's physique had become excessively strong. Then she discovered that although the poison was suppressed, her body began to shrink again. Meanwhile, although Yin was grilling fish, he was a bit annoyed. Another half a day wasted. I have to collect spirit power pearls by night. Will I trigger a serendipity today? When he came back to his senses, he found that Wu Xia Yin had actually slipped away without even a word. But Yin didn't take it to heart. He took a direct bite of the delicious, freshly grilled fish. But unexpectedly, the system suddenly popped up a notification. 2 serendipity fragments awarded. 5 fragments have now been collected. Does young Master Yin wish to synthesize the fragments into a talent? Yin didn't hesitate at all and directly clicked the synthesize button. The fragments suddenly floated out of the void and then quickly merged together. Then the system notified again. Congratulations, young Master Yin, for obtaining the talent. Corpse Explosion Art. Attack range, 2 meters. This talent left Yin speechless. This name sounds very demonic sect-like. Want to be detrimental to me joining a prestigious righteous sect in the future? But this skill is perfect for destroying corpses and erasing evidence. It can even be used as an explosive pack in a critical moment. Forget it. Anyway, you can never have too many skills. Let me see what I have now. Yin, level 20, points 50 million. Talent 1, 2 lives. Talent 2, corpse explosion. After looking, Heian stood up and stretched. Can't slack off. Time to continue collecting pearls. With that, he released the long pent-up flood from his body to extinguish the bonfire. Then, without looking back, he entered the dense forest alone. As he went deeper, Heian's eyes suddenly lit up. He saw countless spirit power pearls floating in the jungle. Heian immediately entered a frantic collection mode. After collecting all the surrounding spirit power pearls, Heian finally breathed a sigh of relief. System, tally up my gains this time. The system's notification sound immediately rang out. Congratulations, young Master Yun, for obtaining 1 million points in one go. First time obtaining 1 million points in a single instance achievement triggers a serendipity. 2 serendipity fragments awarded. Just as Ian was feeling smug about the gains from this outing, several ferocious demon wolves had already appeared behind him. But Ian was unhurried. I knew there was no such thing as a free lunch. No choice now. I don't want to die here. System, level me up directly to level 60. After 2.5 hours of continuous, strenuous plowing, the man finally helped the demoness suppress the poison in her body. But he didn't expect Wu Xia to sneak away without a word. What was even more unlucky was that while Yun was collecting spirit power pearls, that he was attacked by demon wolves. However, since he had just collected over 1 million spirit power pearls, he decisively instructed the system to level him up directly to level 60. The next second, a torrent of spirit energy surged out from his body, and his level instantly rose to 60. In the moment those demon wolves charged in front of Yun, they all lunged towards his face to kill him. But in Yun's eyes, their movements were practically in slow motion. With a casual punch, he smashed the head of one of the demon wolves. Then Yun retracted his arm, turned, and finished off another demon wolf. These 3 demon wolves were no match for the leveled-up Yun. He even blasted a demon wolf into the pack of wolves, interrupting their attack. Then Yun said, word by word, corpse, explosion, explode for me. The moment the talent activated, the demon wolf's corpse immediately exploded violently. As the number of corpses increased, Yun began to frantically use the corpse explosion art. Now, his combat power had soared. Demon wolves of this level weren't even worth his time. After he finished off the wolf pack, the system's notification suddenly rang out. Young Master Yun has annihilated 200 night wolves on his first use of corpse explosion. Total points accumulated, 200,000. Serendipity triggered. 1 serendipity fragment awarded. This game was a pleasant surprise for Yun. I didn't expect this system to be so good. I'm liking it more and more. Just then, Heian suddenly sensed a powerful aura emanating from the dense forest. Looking towards the source, Heian immediately saw an enormous demon wolf with a scarlet mark on its head. The newcomer was none other than the level 30 Night Wolf leader. As soon as the Night Wolf leader appeared, it used its talent skill, Howl. But Heian's tense heart relaxed when he saw the Night Wolf leader's level. If I were still level 20, I might have died here today. Unfortunately for you, your big brother is now level 60, with 2 talents stacked. I won't hold back today. But the Night Wolf leader didn't know Yun's level and only wanted to tear him to shreds on the spot. In the blink of an eye, the Night Wolf leader charged in front of Yun and let out another furious roar. With a huge gap of 30 levels, he didn't take the Night Wolf leader seriously at all. The moment he reached out his hand, he suddenly made a flicking motion. Then Yun's finger lightly flicked the Night Wolf leader's head. He didn't use any martial arts power in this strike. He sent the Night Wolf leader flying with just his pure physical strength. And the force of this blow was incredibly immense. The Night Wolf leader broke through several giant trees in a row before barely coming to a stop. The system's notification sound immediately rang out. Congratulations, young Master Yun, for easily defeating the Night Wolf leader. I'm very satisfied with this. Then he quietly waited for the system's reward. But unexpectedly, the system gave no indication or reward. Yun was instantly shattered. Aren't you supposed to announce the awarding of serendipity fragments now? I'll just praise you a little. You really can't take a compliment. Forget it. I'll just go check the Night Wolf leader's body for rewards myself. The demon sect leader catches a cold from overexertion. But the man wants to give her deep treatment on the spot. Just now, Heian discovered that he had killed the Night Wolf leader but received no reward. So he had no choice but to go and loot the Night Wolf leader's corpse himself. But the spirit power pearl that dropped from a Night Wolf leader was a red color he had never seen before. In an instant, the system's notification rang out. Points increased by 300,000. Serendipity triggered. 2 serendipity fragments awarded. Friendly reminder. Does young Master Yun wish to synthesize a talent? Yun was speechless. Please don't ask next time. Just synthesize it for me. The next second, serendipity fragments emerged from the void and quickly fused together. This time, he obtained a talent called all-knowing. He could query information twice a day. After learning that this talent could look up anything, he nodded in satisfaction. The talents synthesized so far are all quite practical. There are no other auras around now. It should be safe tonight. The sky is about to brighten. I should go back and rest. After returning to the kitchen, the sky was already bright, and Hiyun was watering the seed bestowed by the leader. But he was very puzzled. By the way, can this thing really sprout? The next second, the smell of brewing medicine wafted through the air. Then Hiyun discovered that it was his master brewing a medicinal soup. So he asked curiously, "Master, are you sick?" Hearing this, Yubo immediately turned around and said, "It's not me. You're just in time. I'll leave the heat to you. This is being brewed for Xiao Wushan. She's sick. When the medicine is ready, take it to her." Ian was stunned. "What? She's sick? What kind of sickness?" Yubo said it was just a common cold, but inwardly he complained, "It's actually the drunken spring breeze acting up. Her internal injuries haven't recovered. It's all your fault, kid, for not being strong enough. But this kid feels a bit different. How is his complexion getting better and better?" Logically, after being tormented by the leader like that, his forehead should have turned dark long ago. Could it be that the leader's yin was harvested to supplement his yang? Seeing he had finished brewing the medicinal soup and prepare to send it to the leader, Yubo couldn't help but sigh to himself. "It seems youth is truly resilient. If I had known, I would have cultivated more when I was young." Meanwhile, Wu Xiaoyan's door remained tightly shut. Even though he had knocked continuously, there was no response. After waiting in vain, a helpless Hiyun had no choice but to push the door open and enter. As soon as he entered, he saw Wu Xiaoyan, who had reverted to her child form, still in a deep sleep. Seeing Wu Xiaoyan lying there motionless, Hiyun quickly put down the medicinal soup in his hand. After carefully checking her temperature, Hiyun said with a grave expression, "This girl seems to be seriously ill. She's so hot. This is a damn fever." Just then, Wu Xiaoyan slowly opened her eyes to Hiyun. "My medicine." Hearing this, Hiyun couldn't help but feel troubled. "But this is medicine for a cold. Will it work?" Seeing Wu Xiaoyan repeatedly asking for the medicine, Hiyun had no choice but to helplessly help her up. He personally fed it to her. It's unknown whether it was due to shyness or a flare-up of her illness. Half of the bowl of medicinal soup was spilled onto Xiaoyan's body. Seeing this, Hiyun immediately screamed internally, "Avert your eyes from indecency. Girls must protect themselves when they are outside. Boys too." Thinking of this, Hiyun quickly wiped her clean and then comforted her. "You get some rest. I'll go gather some fever-reducing herbs for you." Staring at Hiyun's back, Xiaoyan couldn't figure it out. This kid's strength has grown a lot again. His aura has increased by at least 50 levels. What on earth is going on? Afterward, Hiyun went to the back mountain. Finding various types of herbs was not difficult for him, but then he suddenly spotted a familiar figure. Upon seeing the person, Hiyun immediately teased, "It's you. Why did you suddenly leave yesterday? I wanted to thank you." This immediately left Ding Ning completely confused. "Thank you? What do you mean?" The woman sought out the man again, wanting to inquire about the secret treasure, but she didn't expect to be ruthlessly dealt with by the man. Not only did she get nothing, but she also ended up with her bones crushed and ashes scattered. Not long ago, Ding Ning took the initiative to come to the kitchen to find Hiyun, but Hiyun said something that confused her. "Senior Sister Ding, thank you. Next time you find a fun place, remember to take me with you." Although Ding Ning felt this kid wasn't right in the head, that she still braced herself and inquired, "By the way, the Changming soul is in your hands, right?" Hiyun was speechless. "Changming slope? It's probably not the slope I'm thinking of, right? It's probably some kind of magical artifact." This is the second time she's asked. Thinking of this, Hiyun directly asked back, "Senior Sister, what exactly is this slope thing you're talking about?" Ding Ning thought Hiyun was playing dumb and immediately couldn't hold back. "Are you messing with me?" But Hiyun also got annoyed. He directly used all-knowing to check Ding Ning's information. "Ding Ning, 18 years old. Joyful building disciple, undercover. Taishu Xiao disciple, level 29. Seeking the Changming soul. Talent, tender heart of 100 turns. Objective, find the Changming soul. Ian didn't expect Ding Ning to be from a righteous sect, but why is she targeting me? Is it because of that magical artifact? Ding Ning is only level 29. She's no threat to me. If we really fight and I accidentally kill her, it would be detrimental to my future development in the righteous sections. Thinking of this, Ian pretended not to know and continued to speak. Senior Sister Ding, could you be a bit more clear? I don't understand what you mean. But unexpectedly, these words made Ding Ning develop killing intent. I've already scouted the area. It's unlikely anyone will show up. This kid isn't as simple-minded as he looks. It seems I'll have to use some extraordinary measures. The next second, Ding Ning suddenly attacked, directly reaching out to grab He Yun's throat. Then she shouted in an icy tone, He Yun, stop pretending. Hand over the Changming soul, and I can spare your life. And He Yun played along very cooperatively. Senior sister, if I really hand it over, will you really let me go? Hearing this, Ding Ning's face instantly lit up with joy. Of course, as long as you cooperate. But He Yun dropped the act that a disciple of Taishu Xiao. Would you really let a member of a demonic sect go? Is that believable? As soon as he said this, Ding Ning immediately lost her composure. How do you know my identity? But He Yun wasted no more words with her. He directly grabbed Ding Ning's wrist in a reverse grip. The next second, a series of cracking sounds suddenly rang out. The intense pain from her wrist made Ding Ning let out an unstoppable, miserable scream. The injured Ding Ning quickly retreated to create distance from He Yun. Then she said in disbelief, why is your strength so great? But He Yun just smiled faintly. Didn't I say it before? I have to thank you for taking me on an outing. If you hadn't taken me, how could I have encountered such a great opportunity to profit so much? Seeing this, Ding Ning quickly raised her arm to block He Yun's fist. But with a huge gap in their cultivation levels, she was like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. She was struck in the chest by a single punch. Then, a surging power erupted from He Yun's hand. It directly pierced through Ding Ning's body. Then, Ding Ning's body was sent flying over 10 meters by the spiritual energy before crashing to the ground. After it was over, He Yun found that Ding Ning had stopped breathing. But He Yun didn't plan to leave just yet. This is a good chance to test the corpse explosion art I just learned. As the corpse explosion art was activated, Ding Ning instantly turned to dust and vanished completely, staring at the clean crater before him. He Yun finally revealed a satisfied smile. Unexpectedly, this entire scene had been witnessed by Xia Yin and Fong Yin. Fong Yin couldn't help but ask in confusion, Leader, this subordinate just found out that Ding Ning was an undercover agent. How did he discover it? But Xia Yin said, that wasn't the point, that I'm more concerned about his power and the technique he just used. This kid is a bit strange, but he acts like one of my demonic sect. Decisive enough. Not only are his actions clean and efficient, he also knows how to cover his tracks. Then Xia Yin turned and left directly. You go have you Bo, teach him some real skills. And keep an eye on him to make sure he studies the scrolls in the library pavilion. Now that Ding Ning is missing, the other Taishu Xiao spies in the sect probably won't be able to sit still. Find them all. Kill them without mercy. Hearing this, Fong Yin immediately nodded. Understood, leader. This subordinate will definitely handle the matters the leader has entrusted to me. Leader, don't walk so fast. Wait for me. Meanwhile, He Yun seemed to have heard someone talking over there. He couldn't help but feel a lingering fear that, oh no, was I seen by someone? And it's a pity about this Ding Ning. She hadn't even taken me to more fun places yet. This protective woman took the initiative to find the man, stating she would take him back for solitary confinement, simply because her disciple had said she was going to find the man before she disappeared. It turned out that not long ago, after He Yun discovered Ding Ning was a spy from the righteous path, that he had mercilessly eliminated her on the spot, even using the newly learned corpse explosion art to clean up the scene. Before long, He Yun finished gathering the medicinal herbs needed to help Wu Xia Yan's fever. But unexpectedly, when he returned to the kitchen, he found that Wu Xia Yan had already fully recovered and was working hard. Seeing He Yun's confused expression, Wu Xia Yan smiled and explained the effect of Master's medicine was immediate. I'm all better now. He Yun found this very strange. Master, your medicine brewing skills should be declared a world heritage. Medicine for a cold can actually reduce a fever. Looks like the herbs I just gathered won't be needed. I'll go dry them first and save them for next time. After Hien left, Wu Xiaoyan immediately signaled to Yubo he's a good seedling. Teach him well. Just as Hien finished laying out the herbs, several people walked in menacingly from outside. The leader was none other than Tian Shui, a disciple of the joyful building. He shouted with an arrogant expression, "Kitchen steward, get out here now." Hearing the shout, Yubo quickly came out with a group of kitchen disciples. After recognizing the visitors, Yubo hurriedly said fawningly, "So it's the young masters and ladies of the joyful building. What can I do for you? It's not that the kitchen's food isn't to your liking, is it?" Unexpectedly, Tian Shui directly drew the sword from his waist, placed it on He Yun's neck, and shouted, "He Yun killed my junior sister, Ding Ning. You should know the rules of the 9 Nether Demon Palace. He who kills a fellow disciple must pay with his life. Steward, you be the witness. I'm going to execute him." Although the matter was exposed, Hien wasn't flustered at all and asked back, "I'm just a cook. Can I kill a disciple of your joyful building? You're overestimating me." But Tian Shui wouldn't listen to his excuses. "Junior Sister Ding said she was coming to find you before she left, but now she hasn't returned. We've searched the entire territory. You must have done it." But Hien just spread his hands, feigning innocence. "Come on. Even if I did do something, you shouldn't just jump to suspecting murder. But it's reasonable for you to suspect me. After all, we're all members of a demonic sect. It's true we draw our blades at the slightest disagreement. But if you're going to say I killed Senior Sister Ding Ning, you should at least have some solid evidence, right?" Yubo, at the side, also quickly chimed in. "Young master, where's the evidence? If you have no evidence, then leave quickly. Don't delay our cooking." However, just then, a lazy female voice suddenly came from not far away. "My disciple is indeed missing. At the very least, Hien was the last person to see Ding Ning. He should be investigated." The woman was exceptionally graceful. She was none other than the leader of the joyful building, Shun Yik. She was also Ding Ning's master. Then, Shun Yik spoke again. "Why not let Ian stay at the Mirror Terrace for a few days? It would be good for me to investigate clearly, and also to clear his name. But don't worry, this isn't solitary confinement. How about you give me 5 days? I will treat him well." Yubo was suddenly in a difficult position. He subconsciously glanced at Wu Xiaoyan, but he saw that the leader had already clenched her fists, her expression clearly turning extremely ugly. Seeing this, Yubo immediately turned and said, "And what if I don't agree?" In response, Shun Yik just spread her hands and said casually, "Then I can only conclude that He Yun is the murderer, and you are an accomplice for harboring him, to be executed immediately." This left Yubo speechless. "That you're going to take me down to?" At this moment, Wu Xiaoyan secretly sent a voice transmission to Yubo. She is extremely protective of her disciples. "Just let her lock Hien up. She won't be able to find anything anyway. You go with him. It's a good opportunity to teach Hien a few things." Hearing this, Yubo immediately said righteously, "In that case, lock him up. But if you can't find any clues, I will go on a rampage. Also, I have to accompany Hien. You all are so aggressive. I'm worried you'll bully my apprentice." Hien wanted to go by himself, but Yubo stopped him. "Say no more. Pack a change of clothes. We're going into confinement." Seeing his master's insistence, Hien could only nod and turn to pack. But he suddenly realized something was off. Could that Tian Shui be in the same group as Ding Ning? Otherwise, why is he so certain that I killed Ding Ning? And what on earth is this Changming soul that Ding Ning mentioned? But Hien couldn't figure out for the moment, so he could only go back to pack his clothes first. Then he suddenly remembered the seed the leader had told him to take good care of. Hien wasn't stupid. He had already guessed that this thing wasn't a seed at all. So he directly used All-Knowing to query its information. The next second, a system prompt popped up, identified as Changming soul. Not a plant seed. Changming soul, the legendary top-tier magical artifact. Whoever possesses it becomes the strongest. In reality, this item seals the primordial souls of perfected Changming and the Demon Lord. After reading the introduction, Hien was instantly confused. "I understand the Demon Lord, but which great deity is this perfected Changming?" Just then, a voice urging him came from outside the door. With no time to think, Hien could only put it away first and study it properly later. Although he didn't know why the leader would give him something so important, being put in confinement wasn't a bad thing right now. At least for these few days, the Changming soul would be safe. As for the matter of the perfected one and the Demon Lord, that I'll investigate it slowly after I get out. The woman was originally the peerlessly elegant leader of a building, but now she was being extremely respectful to a kitchen chef. All because the man had hidden his cultivation for for over 100 years. His own strength had already reached an unfathomable level. Not long ago, Shun Yik, the leader of the Joyful Building, led a group of disciples to the kitchen, enlisted He Yun as a suspect in Ding Ning's murder, taking him back to the Joyful Building for 5 days of confinement. After arriving at the Joyful Building, He Yun was a little puzzled. "Master, why are there so many mirrors here?" Without looking up, Yu Bo replied with a few words. "Otherwise, would it be called the Mirror Terrace?" He Yun was speechless. That explanation is the same as no explanation. So he couldn't help but ask, "What are all these mirrors for?" Yu Bo replied without looking up, "Of course they're for monitoring us." Hearing this, He Yun immediately complained to himself, they're surveillance cameras. Doesn't that mean everything we do, eating, drinking, and relieving ourselves, is being watched? Yu Bo seemed to notice He Yun's concern. He quickly reached out and patted his shoulder. "Don't worry. There aren't mirrors everywhere. It's not as perverted as you think." Before long, the people from the Joyful Building brought He Yun to a room. After opening the door to the stone chamber, an underling slowly said, "The two of you will stay in here." As soon as he entered, He Yun couldn't help but exclaim, "This prison treatment is presidential level." The decor and environment here completely exceeded He Yun's expectations. And before entering the room, Yu Bo didn't forget to remind her, "Leader Shun, remember my words. If there's no evidence to prove my He Yun is the murderer, I will not let this matter rest." Hearing this, even Leader Shun couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat and quickly said she remembered. After the door was closed, Tian Shui said angrily, "Just a cook, and he dares to speak to master like that." Shin Yik immediately signaled him to shut up. Why Yu Bo is not just a simple chef. Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. First, investigate your junior sister's whereabouts. And by the way, why did your junior sister go to find He Yun alone? He's just a kitchen disciple. What connection could she have with him? But Tian Shui shook his head. "I don't know either." She said she suspected He Yun was a traitor and wanted to sound him out. Hearing this, Shun Yik immediately frowned. "A traitor? A traitor next to Yu Bo?" She must have had water in her brain. Besides, investigating traitors isn't the Joyful Building's job. Now Tian Shui instantly became agitated. Junior sister was also thinking of the Nine Nether Demon Palace. Didn't they say the leader has come out of seclusion? There are many people outside who are after the Changming soul in the leader's hands. Speaking of the leader, Shun Yik couldn't help but show a strange expression. Why hasn't the leader shown her face after coming out of seclusion this time? Strange. Meanwhile, He Yun and Yu Bo also began to tidy up the room and arrange their personal belongings. After observing, He Yun found that there were no mirrors in the room. He couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. If I'm not outside, and that demonic senior sister's poison acts up, she won't resort to desperate measures, will she? Why am I worried about her? She's not even worried about sucking me dry. Just then, Yu Bo suddenly gave He Yun a serious look. Then he suddenly raised his hand and blasted spiritual energy at him from a distance. However, after He Yun's level surged, his perception and reaction speed had also greatly improved. After dodging, He Yun was instantly annoyed. "Master, what are you doing? If I hadn't dodged, I would have been turned into meat paste." But you both stared at him with extreme seriousness. "They're level 60. Seeing this, He Yun couldn't help but mutter to himself, "This is the first time I've seen Master with this kind of expression." Seeing He Yun remain silent, Yu Bo immediately erupted with spiritual energy and questioned him. "Not long ago, you were just an ordinary person. What on earth happened in just a few days?" This turn of events made He Yun so nervous he couldn't help but swallow his saliva. He also finally understood that his master was definitely not an ordinary cook. To avoid revealing any flaws, he quickly feigned calmness and said, "That's right, I'm level 60. But I really don't know how it happened." Hearing this, Yu Bo immediately showed a playful smile. "You don't know the reason?" This smile instantly made He Yun panic. "Ding Ning took me on an outing and left me in the mountains. I stumbled into a strange place by accident. After I fainted and woke up, I was level 60. Master, if you say a person suddenly skyrockets to level 60, who wouldn't be suspicious? That's why I wanted to hide it, and you could definitely tell. I don't know any techniques." After hearing this, Yu Bo suddenly burst out laughing. Then he plopped down on the bed. "Next time anyone asks you, just say, 'I taught you and told you to hide your skills.' Don't make up such unbelievable nonsense in the future. I don't care how you leveled up. Anyway, you must have had a great opportunity. Your luck is heaven-defying, kid." When the leader and Fong Yin said you killed Ding Ning, I didn't believe it. Hearing this, Hyun's expression changed instantly. He didn't expect the matter to have been exposed. Seeing Hyun's panicked look, Yubo burst out laughing. You could wring water from the cold sweat on your face. Weren't you very brave when you killed her? What are you afraid of now? Our Nine-Nether Demon Palace is a demonic sect, the kind that kills without batting an eye. The leader and the acting leader knew long ago. They were right there watching you do it. Hearing this, Hyun couldn't help but slap his forehead and complain to himself. And no wonder I had a feeling of being watched back then. But it seems Master doesn't plan to punish me. And Yubo suddenly took off the ring on his index finger. In an instant, a powerful aura erupted from Yubo, creating a sense of pressure that even Hyun couldn't resist. Then Yubo tossed the ring to Hyun. Sorry. This old man hasn't taken off this ring in 100 or 200 years. The aura is a bit heavy. It'll dissipate in a moment. This ring is a magical artifact that hides one's cultivation. Put it on and continue acting all innocent and sweet. Looking at the ring in his hand, Hyun was so moved that he started shedding tears. Then he looked at Yubo with a grateful expression and said coquettishly, Master. The woman was originally the leader of a building, proficient in the art of dual cultivation. But now she was shocked by the man's talent for cultivation. So she developed the idea of poaching the man to be her little apprentice. It turned out that not long ago, Hyun's master, who had hidden his cultivation for many years, finally dropped his act and gave him a ring that could hide his cultivation. Seeing Hyun's extremely moved expression, Master Yubo said irritably, Don't forget the leader's kindness to you. When you become successful in the future, remember to repay the leader. Hyun was very confused by this and couldn't help but ask back, Master, why is the leader so good to me? Yubo couldn't help but blush and cough lightly. You kid really don't understand anything. You've been targeted by the leader. It'll be hard to get away. Anyway, the leader thinks you're a talent worth nurturing and asked me to teach you some life-saving skills. Besides, you've been calling me master all these years. It wouldn't be right if I didn't teach you anything. I'll now impart my unique skill, the ruthless hand, to you. Hearing this, Hyun immediately got excited. Yes, yes, yes. I want to learn. After nodding slightly, Yubo activated his spiritual energy and explained, The ruthless hand is all about being ruthless. This move is extremely fast, and its power is fierce. Each palm strike that lands will weaken the opponent's vitality and spiritual energy. After mastering the basics, you can also use it interchangeably with the heartless finger. The so-called heartless finger uses the finger as a palm, concentrating all your body's power at your fingertip. It can accurately hit pressure points and instantly seal meridians, causing the opponent's spiritual energy to be cut off for a period of time. When my ruthless hand is cultivated to the extreme, it becomes the eternal ruthless realm. Speaking of this, Yubo's expression suddenly froze. Seeing this, Hyun couldn't help but ask curiously, Master, why did you stop talking? But Yubo suddenly chuckled and said, It's enough for you to learn the basics of this skill. You don't need to pursue the ultimate level. The more profoundly you cultivate the ruthless hand, the colder your heart will become. When you reach the extreme of ruthlessness, you will inevitably have regrets. But Hyun found it a bit strange. But I see that you, Master, have all 7 emotions and 6 desires. Have you not cultivated it to the ultimate level? Yubo's expression immediately became complicated, but of course your Master has cultivated it to the extreme. Your Master is exceptionally talented. Cultivating to the ultimate level was no hindrance. Seeing his hesitant expression, Hyun knew he must have something difficult to say. So he praised him. I knew you weren't simple, Master. So you're the sweeper monk hidden in the kitchen. Yubo then stood up directly and said, There's more space outside. I will demonstrate it for you once. Hyun quickly followed and asked carefully, There are mirrors outside. Aren't you afraid of others secretly learning it? In response, Yubo just chuckled. Secretly learn it? They must think they've lived too long. Being confined in the mirror terrace, on the contrary, has 100 benefits and no harm. This is a good place to focus on cultivation. Hearing this, Hyun immediately rejoiced secretly. So domineering. Master is probably second only to the leader and the acting leader. A powerful patron. I must hold on tight. Soon, the two arrived at an open space. After warming up a bit, Yubo said, Today I will demonstrate it once first. Remember as much as you can. Form first, then intent. I'll correct you if you make mistakes. Hearing this, Heian quickly bowed respectfully to show he understood. Then, Yubo began to circulate the spiritual energy in his body. Breathing in the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, it entered his body with great force, flowing along his meridians. The aura around his body rose steadily, and everything came to an abrupt halt with a loud shout. After he finished, Yubo asked, "How much did you remember?" "Imitate it once. It's okay if you get it wrong." Unexpectedly, Hyun's demonstration was simply perfect. In his movements, he was even better than Yubo. Even Yubo, this hidden master, was shocked by Hyun's learning ability. He couldn't help but look incredulous. "Kid, is this really your first time learning a technique?" Hyun immediately scratched his head. "It is indeed the first time. But I'm starting at level 60. It seems I learn techniques especially fast." Yubo couldn't help but pat his shoulder in gratification. "You truly are a cultivation prodigy." The leader was not mistaken. "With me here, I will definitely teach you everything I know." Meanwhile, in the most secret room of the joyful building, Leader Shun was watching the scene in the mirror with great interest. Seeing that Hyun's cultivation talent was so strong, she suddenly revealed a smile. "This little fellow's talent is not bad. If he really didn't kill my disciple, maybe I could snatch him to be my little apprentice." The woman, the noble leader of a building, Dot was peeping at the man with a mirror every day. But unexpectedly, the acting leader suddenly appeared and stopped her. Not long ago, Yubo imparted his unique skill to Hyun. After 3 days of practice, although he still couldn't compare to his master. This level was enough for self-protection. Gradually, Hyun started to forget himself, wanting to experience a ruthless growth. But Yubo suddenly gave him karate chop and then asked, "You brat, what are you grinning at the wall for? How's the practice going?" Hyun quickly pointed at the palm print on the wall and said, "Master, look, I can also make a palm print now." Seeing this, Yubo couldn't help but praise him. "Your cultivation talent is truly heaven-defying. It took me 10 years of practice to achieve this effect. I'm not as good as you." Hearing this, Hyun couldn't help but mutter under his breath, "After all, I'm level 60 now. If I were level 0, I probably couldn't do this even after 50 years of practice. I'm taking advantage of my level." But Yubo still heard him. "Kid, did you smear honey on your mouth? Here." This was personally delivered by acting leader Fong Yin. "She wants you to study it well. But this technique has no name." The acting leader didn't say. She just dropped the book and left. After taking it, Hyun couldn't help but frown. This doesn't look like a technique, more like a classic for cultivating internal breath. Then Hyun didn't think much more, opened the manual, and began to look through it carefully. Then he put away the manual, full of passion, and prepared to practice. This made Yubo very regretful. "I've raised this kid for so many years, but I never knew he was so obsessed with cultivation. If I had known, I should have started training him from a young age." However, Hyun didn't rush to cultivate. Instead, he used his all-knowing talent to check the origin of this classic, Changming true scripture. A method for cultivating true qi can replace the original true qi circulation method. Allows power to flow unimpeded through the meridians. Now Hyun completely lost his composure. Changming soul. According to the usual tropes, there must be some connection between these two. Time to practice. Then Hyun quickly calmed his mind. "First, I'll try the breathing method written in the first few pages." Instantly, he felt comfortable all over, as if his body had been purified. As he breathed, it felt like he was bathing in a cool forest. His hearing and sight became clear, and all his senses became sharper. This true scripture was exceptionally compatible with him, as if it were written specifically for him. Hyun immediately decided to go ask his master. "Let's see what the background of this perfected Changming is. If I have a chance, I must learn from him." After coming to Yubo, Hyun immediately asked, "Master, do you know of perfected Changming?" This question surprised Yubo. "You kid actually know of a great power from such a distant era?" Perfected Changming was a peerless great power from 1,000 years ago. It is said that he was half a step away from becoming a god. It's just a pity that in the battle with the demon lord, both of them perished. Hearing this, Hyun couldn't help but ask in shock, "Is the demon lord one of our sect's leaders from long ago? Did perfected Changming lose a fight with our ancestor?" Yubo shook his head that we are a demonic sect. Although outsiders might call our leader the demon lord, the demon lord I'm talking about is the lord of the demon clan. Hyun quickly said he had never heard of the demon clan. Yubo explained for him. The demon clan suddenly disappeared after that great war. No one has seen them since. Ordinary people naturally wouldn't know. I also heard it from my master. It's hard to tell if it's true or false, but it's all just legend. It was too long ago, no one can say for sure. And a system prompt suddenly sounded at this moment. Young Master Yin has learned the first clue to the world's truth. Serendipity triggered. One serendipity fragment awarded. This greatly surprised Yin. The world's truth, the Demon Clan Master mentioned, is actually real? This development is a bit strange. Then Ian quickly said he wanted to go back and continue practicing that nameless classic. After carefully reading through it, Ian became more and more puzzled. Could this book have been written by perfected Changming? How could such a wondrous book be in a demonic sect? But when Ian saw the last page, his pupils suddenly shrank. A gift to my 2 disciples. May you break through soon. This made Ian even more confused. Point 2 disciples? Which 2? Meanwhile, Leader Shan was staring at the mirror in her hand and muttering. What were they talking about just now? Their voices were so low. But a female voice suddenly interrupted her. Little Kayer, aren't you afraid of seeing something you shouldn't? As soon as these words were spoken, Leader Shun immediately stood up awkwardly. Acting leader, what wind blew you here? The visitor was none other than Fong Yin, the current acting leader of the demonic sect. The man accidentally activated the mysterious Changming soul. But he didn't expect to once again attract the demonic sect leader, who hadn't been seen for a long time. The leader, who was suffering from a painful illness, couldn't wait to have the man detoxify her as soon as they met. Just now, acting leader Fong Yin found Leader Shun, who was monitoring He Yun. A spy has appeared in the joyful building. Yet you, the leader, were completely unaware. The leader sent me to question you. Do you still want to be the building leader? Upon hearing this, Leader Shun was immediately shocked. A spy? How could that be? Fong Yin immediately showed a meaningful smile. Then you'll have to investigate it thoroughly yourself. The leader has just come out of seclusion and is busy with many things. Don't you go bothering her. Leader Shin quickly prostrated on the ground. This subordinate will definitely investigate it clearly, to put the leader and the acting leader at ease. Meanwhile, Tian Shui, leading a group of people, found the place where Ding Ning was killed. He couldn't help but feel contempt. Sloppy body disposal. What a disgrace to our 9 nether demonic cult. Then, he signaled for everyone to dig open the pit. Seeing 3 of them preparing to use their powers, he was instantly exasperated. Are you trying to destroy the evidence? Use shovels to dig. Hearing this, the men quickly found tools and began to dig vigorously in the pit. However, after digging down 5 meters, they still didn't see Ding Ning's body. They couldn't help but suspect they had the wrong spot. But Tian Shui stated firmly that there was no mistake. I can smell junior sister Ding Ning's scent. Although it's faint, it's definitely hers. She must have been here. Just then, to investigate the spy, Leader Shun also arrived. After pouring out the liquid from a bottle, she spoke. Our joyful building's disciples practice the art of harmonious union. Their bodily fluids contain special components that will react with the myriad passions water I've refined. If Ding Ning was really here, there will definitely be a reaction. As soon as she finished speaking, a cloud of purple mist suddenly erupted from the ground, enveloping the surroundings. Meanwhile, Wu Xiaoyan was looking into a mirror and muttering, "This kid is quite diligent in his practice. I just praised you. Why did you stop practicing? What are you up to, sneaking around?" Seeing Ian suddenly open the door to a stone chamber, Wu Xiaoyan quickly switched the view to see what the boy was up to. Meanwhile, an idea suddenly occurred to Ian. He decided to channel Changming true qi into the Changming soul to see if there would be a reaction. No sooner said than done. He began to infuse all the newly refined Changming true qi into the Changming soul. Next, a scene that utterly shocked Wu Xiaoyan unfolded. The Changming soul suddenly emitted a golden light and actually began to sprout roots and grow into the shape of a tree. This made her feel it was unbelievable. I spent 1,000 years using the 9 nether soul devouring scripture to seize countless souls and spiritual energy and still couldn't make the Changming soul coalesce. He's only been practicing for a few days and he actually succeeded? However, before she could get far, a familiar sharp pain shot through her heart again. At this time, Ian was very troubled. Those outside who don't know Changming true qi wouldn't be able to do anything with the Changming soul, even if they got it. And I can't figure out how to use this magical artifact at all. The all-knowing appraisal said it was a mix of real and fake. Does that mean it's at most 50% credible? But just then, a figure suddenly burst in and signaled for Yubo not to enter the room. The visitor was none other than Wu Xiaoyan, her condition acting up. The moment she entered, she pounced on Hiyun. She didn't waste any words with Hiyun, directly stating she had no time to explain. Seeing Wu Xiaoyan gradually losing control, Hiyun quickly said that he didn't bring many clothes. Hearing this, Wu Xiaoyan sat right down on top of him, then showed an expression of extreme pain, signaling for Hiyun to quickly help her alleviate the poison in her body. The demonic cult's acting leader wanted to accompany the female demon on a business trip. Unexpectedly, the female demon chose to take Hiyun instead, rejecting her on the grounds that she lacked that function. In order to properly assist the leader, she resolutely decided to cultivate that function. It turned out that not long ago, Wu Xiaoyan's poison acted up again. Helpless, she had no choice but to barge into the joyful building and have Hiyun help her alleviate the poison symptoms. Listening to the incessant sounds, the old master could only cover his face in resignation. Unexpectedly, the stone room's door was suddenly kicked open. It turned out Leader Shun had already identified the culprit through a secret technique. The group was menacing. Now that the evidence was conclusive, the next step was to bring the culprit to justice on the spot. Leader Shun entered and went straight for Hiyun's room. "You with the surname He, get out here. Today, I must avenge my disciple." The next second, Leader Shin's expression turned strange, because she saw the leader, who was said to be in life-or-death seclusion, actually appear in Hiyun's room, and she was staring at her with an icy expression. She quickly shut the door as if she had seen a ghost. At this moment, her brain was overloaded. Did my eyes just deceive me? The disciples below were instantly full of questions. Seeing her disciples' confused faces, wanting to know what was going on, Leader Shin quickly took a deep breath to calm herself. Then she signaled for them to move aside. "It's not a big problem, just a little scary." Then she noticed Yubo squatting not far away. Then she quickly walked over and squatted down next to Yubo. "Why didn't you tell me the leader was here too? And how did the leader end up with Hiyun?" Yubo, feeling guilty, immediately started making things up. "How would I know? Maybe the leader was in seclusion for too long, and he was the first man she saw after coming out. So it was love at first sight." Then, Leader Shun asked another soul-searching question. "How long have they been dual cultivating?" Yubo's old face immediately flushed. "I don't know. Anyway, my legs are numb from squatting." "Why are you blushing? Don't you people in the joyful building dual cultivate from morning till night?" Just then, a red light suddenly burst through the door and vanished from the stone room in the blink of an eye. The speed of this light was incredibly fast, clearly trying to avoid being seen. And the target of this figure was none other than the back mountain of the sect. Fang Yin, who had arranged this with the leader, was already waiting there with clothes. As soon as Wu Xiaoyan landed, she asked softly, "Leader, you weren't discovered, were you?" Wu Xiaoyan nodded. "But Shin Yik ran into me and Hiyun. She knows the cultivation technique I practice requires me not to easily lose my virginity." Fang Yin immediately asked nervously, "Does this subordinate need to go smooth things over?" Wu Xiaoyan shook her head. "I doubt she'd be foolish enough to spread it around. But we need to keep a close eye on that boy, Hiyun. Don't let him leave my 9 Nether Demon Palace. Also, I'm going to see Xia Shuang." Hearing this, Fang Yin's expression changed instantly. "That is absolutely out of the question. The 9 Heavens Immortal Sect and our 9 Nether Demon Palace have no dealings with each other. This subordinate will not let you go. You're injured right now. Isn't this just walking to your death?" Wu Xiaoyan helplessly broke free. "Let go of me. Haven't I told you not to be so handsy with me all the time?" Hearing this, Fang Yin quickly retreated several steps, afraid the leader would get angry. But Fang Yin continued to persuade her. "Although Xia Shuang is your biological sister, you haven't had contact for hundreds of years. At this age, she probably has no feelings left for family ties." But Wu Xiaoyan signaled for her to stop. She told her to find an excuse to release Hiyun, as she was taking him on the road. Fang Yin's face was instantly filled with jealousy. "Why take him? You could take me instead." Wu Xiaoyan was speechless at this. She directly pinched her chin and retorted, "Do you have that function? Go now. Do as I say." Fang Yin, who was flung away, showed a hint of a blush. "For the leader, I must work hard to cultivate that function." The woman clearly knew the man was the female demon's lover. Yet she insisted on suspecting him of murdering her disciple, thus earning a summons from the acting leader. and was harshly reprimanded. Not long ago, after Wu Xiaoyan had alleviated the poison in her body, she quickly left the stone room. But this made He Yin feel a bit strange. How did that female demon sneak into the mirror terrace without being discovered? Could it be she's not some senior sister at all, but an elder of extremely high status? But that status is a bit too high. This isn't a place just anyone can enter. Just then, there was a sudden knock on the stone room's door. Although Yubo was puzzled why He Yin was still full of life, he stated his purpose. Disciple, Leader Shun is here to question you. Hearing this, He Yin quickly jumped up from the bed. He knew she must have found something to come looking for him. However, He Yin wasn't flustered at all. The burden of proof is on the accuser. If you can find evidence, that's your skill. As soon as he stepped out of the room, He Yin saw Leader Shun and her disciples already seated in the main seats. Tian Shui, at the side, was furious upon seeing He Yin. Don't think that just because you in the lead. Hearing this, Leader Shin quickly stopped him from saying the word leader. A son's misdeeds are the father's fault. Guiding a disciple to success is a master's duty. One must teach and nurture people. He Yin was speechless. What is she talking about? Only then did Leader Shin say, in a low, stern voice, Tian Shui, if you dare mention the leader again, I will crush your family jewels on the spot. Do you understand? Seeing that Tian Shui had gotten the message, Leader Shun then spoke slowly with a smile. He Yin, I have something to ask you. Although He Yin was annoyed that Leader Shun's mood changed faster than flipping a book, he remained composed. Please ask, Leader. Unexpectedly, Leader Shin didn't seem to be interrogating him. We found clues left by Ding Ning in the garden. Tian Shui at the side suddenly interjected. Speak up. Where is junior sister Ding Ning now? But Ian said coldly, are you saying junior sister Ding was killed, or that she's missing? The evidence you've presented now, what does it have to do with me? But Tian Shui directly drew his long sword. No matter what happened to her, it's definitely related to you. She got into trouble because she was investigating you. Now there are clues in the garden, and there are records of you entering and exiting on those days. How do you explain that? To this, He calmly retorted, what do the clues have to do with me? So what if I went to the garden? Many people go in and out every day. Why single me out? I'm just a kitchen boy. I grew up in the cult. If I'm a traitor, then what does that make my master? Yubo quickly chimed in, I bought He Yin when he was young. He has been learning by my side ever since. Although I don't watch him every moment, to say he's a traitor unless he's a time management master. However, Tian Shui was relentless. Master must be this kid. I'm sure of it. Look how fearless he is. He's obviously prepared a thorough countermeasure. An ordinary person would have been scared out of their wits by now. His reaction isn't normal. However, he just shrugged. You'd better come back and question me when you have real evidence. Yubo also impatiently hinted, Leader Shun, why don't you go consult acting Leader Fong Yin and see what guidance she has? Leader Shin instantly understood. So, she said, let's just consider today a routine inquiry. Tian Shui, come back with me to cultivate. Tian Shui wanted to say something, but seeing Leader Shun's stern expression, he could only lower his head in resignation and reply, understood, Master. Next, Leader Shun went to the main hall and found the acting leader. The moment Fong Yin saw her, she immediately mocked. Little K-er, from now on you should change your name to Brainless. Since you witnessed the matter between the leader and He Yin, you should know whether that boy is trustworthy. And you still haven't released him. Are you trying to defy the leader's will? Leader Shin quickly lowered her head and explained, how would this subordinate dare? But my disciple, Ding Ning. Fong Yin immediately snapped. Your disciple was a spy planted by the Grand Void Firmament. She was undercover for years, and you were completely unaware. The leader and I investigated this personally. The evidence is conclusive. You don't need to ask any more questions. Go back and properly sort out the joyful building. Don't worry the leader again. However, Leader Shun was still a bit puzzled. The technique the leader practices, that requires her to maintain her virginity. But Fong Yin cut her off directly. Since you should have a clear idea of how to act from now on. Little K-er, the leader likes women who are obedient. Just hearing the man let out a cry of pain. The female demon couldn't suppress her inner turmoil, her mind filled with images of merging with the male protagonist. Not long ago, acting Leader Fong Yin gave Leader Shun the instruction to release He Yin. So, Yubo brought He Yin back to the kitchen. However, He Yin was a bit confused. Master, we were just released like that? I have so many questions now. For example, who is the demoness who uses me as a cultivation vessel? Why could she come and go from the mirror terrace so freely? Yubo quickly explained, "This is the demonic cult. What kind of strange people don't we have?" Meanwhile, Xia Yin patted Yubo's shoulder with satisfaction. "Master, I've packed. Were we hitting the road?" Yubo immediately smiled slightly. "We'll leave after lunch." Yin was very puzzled by this. "What are we buying this time? It's even making you go out personally, Master." Yubo just vaguely stated that it was something important. He certainly wouldn't tell He-Yun that they were going to challenge the #1 immortal sect of the righteous path. But He-Yun only cared about who was paying for the travel expenses. Yubo directly took out a money pouch. "The acting leader gave us a lot of coins. Spend as you like." He-Yun was instantly thrilled. "I've decided to love the acting leader starting today." Hearing this, Xia Yan's face darkened and she gripped the door frame tightly. Instantly, the door frame made a cracking sound. Seeing He-Yun look over, Xia Yan quickly covered the part of the door frame she had damaged. Seeing this, Yubo quickly stepped in to smooth things over. It was probably the sound of that chicken outside, making a fuss. Seeing He-Yun was fooled, Xia Yan breathed a sigh of relief. The three of them soon left the residence and arrived at a small town at the foot of the mountain. Seeing the sky darken, Xia Yan asked, "Master, where are we staying tonight?" Yubo instantly understood. "When we're out on business, of course we stay in the most luxurious place possible and eat the most delicious food there is." Hearing that they wouldn't be roughing it, Xia Yan secretly breathed a sigh of relief. "Not bad, not bad." This one is relieved. This lavish style made He-Yun very eager. "Next time, I want to come out with Master to eat and drink well again." Afterward, the three of them feasted in the first-floor restaurant. After eating and drinking their fill, He-Yun returned to his room. Rubbing his full belly, He-Yun immediately decided to get a good night's sleep. Meanwhile, after Xia Yan returned to her room, she suddenly started to dry heave. Just then, Fang Yin suddenly burst through the window. "Leader, I am here." Xia Yan was speechless. "Where did you pop out from?" Fang Yin quickly knelt and explained respectfully. "This subordinate has been following secretly to protect the leader's safety." "Leader, you couldn't be pregnant, could you?" Xia Yan was instantly speechless. "Couldn't be what?" "Don't speak with such dramatic pauses. It's the second stage of the poison acting up. What kind of pregnancy is this? If Ian wants to get me pregnant, he'll have to work much harder." Just then, He-Yun's wail from outside interrupted their conversation. Seeing this, Xia Yan guessed, "It's Ian. It's most likely my nausea and weakness just now that triggered the goo worm I planted in his body. I'll go check." Fang Yin quickly tried to stop her. "Once that goo worm acts up, a person loses their reason. He might force you." Xia Yan was very helpless about this. "Hurry up and wash those dirty thoughts out of your brain. Right? You should immediately return to the cult to hold down the fort. And while you're at it, spread the news that the Changming soul has been taken out of the Nine Nether Demon Palace." Fang Yin didn't hesitate and immediately turned to leave. "Rest assured, leader, you must be careful with everything." Seeing Fang Yin climbing out the window instead of using the door, Xia Yan was speechless. What was I thinking back then, picking up this silly girl? Unexpectedly, as soon as Xia Yan stepped out, Yubo quickly reminded her, "Leader, I heard my disciple crying out in pain." Xia Yan immediately gestured, "None of your business. Go to sleep." Then she knocked on He-Yun's door. "What's wrong? I'm here to check on you." After speaking, Xia Yan opened the door and quickly went inside, closing the door. Seeing this, He-Yun gritted his teeth and said, "Don't come in. Get out quickly." The strange poison, drunken spring breeze, planted by the righteous path was so vicious. First, it caused Xia Yan to vomit uncontrollably, leaving her weak. Then it attacked her mind, making it hard for her to control herself. What's worse, forcibly enduring it would cause her cultivation to drain away. Right now, her only hope was to find He-Yun for help. It turned out that just now, the goo worm in He-Yun's body had suddenly become agitated, making it hard for him to suppress the primal power within him. But he didn't expect Xia Yan to come looking for him. Helpless, He-Yun quickly turned around to hide his embarrassment. "You get out quickly. My situation is not right at all." Seeing Xia Yan trying to get closer, He-Yun quickly shouted for her to stop. Seeing Xia Yan's confused expression, He-Yun had no choice but to explain. "Little Wu Shan, might as well tell you. A demoness implanted a goo worm in me. Now this goo worm is restless in my body. Right now, my mind is filled only with thoughts of dual cultivation." To see if Ian could suppress his desire, Xia Yan said coquettishly, "You saved me back then. Actually, I can repay you with my body." But Ian scolded outright, "I only see you as a little sister. Don't talk nonsense. Besides, my body has already been taken by that demoness. For life, I'm her man. Get out quickly. Once the goo worm calms down, I'll return to normal. Hearing this, Xiaoyan secretly rejoiced. What her man? He's quite good at giving himself titles. Meanwhile, Heyin was already cursing inwardly. Damn that demoness, making me act like a monk. Next time I see her, I'll make her cry under me until she can't speak. Seeing me hugging the pillar and wailing, Xiaoyan's heart softened. She immediately formed a hand seal and cast a spell. She began to control the goo worm inside Hiyun's body. The originally restless goo worm gradually calmed down. In just a moment, Hiyun regained his senses. He immediately jumped off the bed and said in disbelief. The goo worm suddenly quieted down. Xiaoyan immediately teased. So, Brother Hiyun, do you still want to dual cultivate? Hiyun's face flushed. You're just a little girl. Don't say such words all the time. I was just spouting nonsense because I lost my mind. Besides, an unmarried man and woman alone in a room is bad for your reputation. You still have to get married in the future. You need to be mindful of these things. In a few years, I'll find a good husband for you. Hearing this, Xiaoyan immediately cursed inwardly. You want to marry me off to someone else? How infuriating. Instantly, Xiaoyan felt exasperated. She then puffed up her cheeks and walked straight out of the room. Seeing Xiaoyan like this, Hiyun couldn't help but mutter to himself. Why did she suddenly get angry? After returning to her room, Xiaoyan immediately cursed Hiyun. Annoying. That brat. Even if he didn't recognize me, he can't say he'll marry me off to someone else. And to think for a moment, I was considering starting something with him. Just then, Xiaoyan suddenly realized something was wrong with her condition. This second stage of drunken spring breeze is so vicious. First, it makes one vomit and become weak. Then it invades the body with lust, making it hard to control oneself. Then, Xiaoyan's body transformed back into her demoness form. The dual torment of body and mind made her suffer greatly. If Hiyun were by my side right now, why would I have to suffer like this? Then, Xiaoyan's gaze pierced through the wall, staring intently at Hiyun. She quickly suppressed the thought with her hand. No, this is no solution at all. However, relying on herself now, she couldn't even last a second longer. Xiaoyan was in excruciating pain, seeing that she couldn't hold on by herself, even at the risk of exposing her identity. She had to go find Hiyun. Forcibly enduring, it would only cause her cultivation to drain away. No sooner said than done. Xiaoyan quickly snuck to Hiyun's room, even deliberately changing into the sheer gauze she wore the last time she saw him. After closing the door, she swayed her alluring and graceful body and softly called Hiyun's name. Xiaoyan's appearance immediately startled Hiyun. You actually follow me down the mountain? The man was tricked by the female demon into traveling far from home. Unexpectedly, the destination of this trip was the righteous holy land he yearned for. He was originally overjoyed, wanting to find a chance to join them. But unexpectedly, the female demon who held his weakness had already come up with a countermeasure. Not long ago, after a night of hard battle, Hiyun obtained another serendipity fragment. He discovered that the probability of obtaining fragments from exercising with that woman was the highest. Since I'm out this time, I should get new fragments soon. Even better, I got over 10,000 spiritual power beads afterward. It's a huge profit. Meanwhile, Yubo took the opportunity to ask Xia Yin if she had sought out Hiyun to detoxify again last night. Seeing Xia Yin admit it, Yubo quickly reminded her in a low voice, the 9 nether soul devouring scripture you practice. You can't do this, can you? Xia Yin said she had no choice. Forcibly enduring, it will only make my cultivation drain faster. I need to find the antidote as soon as possible. My cultivation technique is already damaged and it's irreversible. I can only try to make up for it. I don't just practice this one path. Don't worry too much. Hearing this, Yubo quickly offered a compliment, truly worthy of being the leader. But Hiyun, seeing his master and Xia Yin so close, immediately cursed inwardly. This old man isn't trying to hit on little Wu Shan, is he? So Hiyun hurried forward and pushed his master aside. Master, quick, look at this passage. I tried a few moves according to it, but didn't feel anything. Yubo immediately said irritably, don't read while walking. Be careful you don't ruin your eyes. Hiyun quickly tried to smooth it over. I'm studying with such thirst for knowledge. Aren't you happy? When I become famous, it will be said that you taught me well. Hearing this, Xia Yin suddenly interrupted. Brother Hiyun, be careful you don't become a martial arts fanatic. Those people are very boring. Seeing this, Hiyun couldn't help but mutter to himself, is she still angry? What's she angry about? After seeing the manual in Hee-yun's hand, Yubo said irritably, "The acting leader gave you this, right? You're not suited to practice this one now. Switch to the other one with the red cover." Hee-yun quickly put away the manual and asked, "Right? We didn't buy any supplies in town yesterday." "Master, where are we going to buy things?" Upon learning they were going to Tianzhou, Hee-yun was immediately dismayed. "That place is full of righteous sects, just like Mount Song. It's packed with martial arts schools. If people from our demonic cult go there, will we even be able to come back?" But Yubo replied without turning his head, "That's right. They're all righteous sections. So what? We're a demonic cult, not an evil cult. There's a big difference." Hee-yun, as an ignorant youth who had never been more than 10 li away from the demonic cult since he transmigrated, had no idea what the difference was. Xia had to explain it to him. The Nine Nether Demon Palace belongs to the demonic cult, but it's not an evil cult. The righteous and demonic sects are like Taoism and Buddhism. Each has its own practices and rules. But being different doesn't mean being opposed. Everyone on the continent knows this. This made Hee-yun even more confused. Then are the ingredients we need for cooking only available in Tianzhou? Yubo quickly made something up. "Good disciple, that thing is indeed only available in Tianzhou. When we get to the post station, we'll switch to a carriage. It'll take about 10 days to get to Tianzhou. Let's hurry." Then, the three of them began their long journey. But on the surface, Yubo maintained his identity, teaching Hee-yun various basic moves. Secretly, however, he was afraid of saying the wrong thing and angering this Tsundere leader. But after several days and nights of travel, they finally arrived at the main city of Tianzhou, Tianluo City. This was also the first time Hee-yun had seen a real city. The impact of this major city made him cry out in amazement. Then Hee-yun secretly made a decision. "I'm going to write a beautiful resume and submit it to the great righteous sect, the Nine Heavens Immortal Sect. Then I'll be set for life." Xia saw through his thoughts at a glance. This kid isn't still thinking about joining a righteous sect, is he? "Anyway, I have leverage over you. You're the one who took care of Ding Ning. You have no way out. Serve me well. But that's your real way to be set for life." And Hee-yun eagerly asked, "We've arrived. What exactly are we here to buy?" Yubo subconsciously asked Xia, "Right, what are we buying?" Hearing this, Xia immediately sent an angry voice transmission. "You dare joke with me, boy?" Quickly find an excuse to fool him. Yubo quickly explained seriously, "The thing we need to buy is in the Nine Heavens Immortal Sect." Ian didn't expect that he would be stepping into the righteous sect of his dreams so soon. So he secretly decided, "I have to take little Wu Shan with me to the righteous sect. I have a brotherly responsibility to her." However, they never would have imagined that they had already been targeted. A figure appeared from around the corner. It was Tian Shui, sent by Xia Shuang to be a spy in the Demon Palace. A cold smile appeared on his lips. "Hee-yun, you will die in Tianluo City." The man mistakenly thought his old master was interested in little Wu Shan. Little did he know, his master, who was over 50 years old, was actually a good disciple raised by Xia Yin herself. Just now, Hee-yun unexpectedly learned that the destination of this trip was the Nine Heavens Immortal Sect. So he secretly decided to take little Wu Shan and Defect to the righteous sect in the future. Little did he know, Tian Shui, the spy in the demonic cult, already planned to kill him here. Meanwhile, Yubo made a series of turns, familiarly arriving in front of a small courtyard. He then took out a key and opened the gate. As soon as the gate opened, Hee-yun showed a surprised expression. Although the courtyard was remote, it was exceptionally clean and tidy inside, but it was obvious no one had lived there for a long time. Then, Xia suddenly sent a voice transmission to Yubo. "I thought you'd sold this place. It seems you still haven't moved on." Yubo was instantly embarrassed and turned away, saying he had moved on long ago. Xia then teased, "A ruthless hand comes from a ruthless person. I never would have guessed." On the other hand, Hee-yun, seeing his master blushing in front of Xia again, couldn't help but grit his teeth and curse inwardly. This old man isn't having improper thoughts about the young girl again, is he? Dangerous. Truly dangerous. So Hee-yun quickly called out to Yubo, hearing his disciple call him over. The old man was just looking for a reason to get away from Xia. Hee-yun quickly raised his hand and asked, "Master, can I stay in this room?" Then Hee-yun secretly decided to keep a close eye on the old man during this time. It would be terrible if he really did something bad to little Wu Shan. After all, he had a responsibility to her. Meanwhile, Xia ignored the two of them and spoke for herself. "Then I'll choose this room. Is that okay?" Seeing the leader choose the room next to Hee-yun's, Yubo tactfully turned around. "There are plenty of rooms. Take your pick. I'll go back to my room and tidy up. I wonder how much dust has gathered." Although Yubo said this, after he walked around the corner, he couldn't help but eavesdrop on their conversation from the shadows. And as expected, Ian called out to Xia Yin, who was about to enter her room. Then he began, somewhat awkwardly, "Little Wushan, I have something to ask you." Master, is he towards you?" At this point, Yin couldn't help but cover his mouth in embarrassment. Xia Yin asked, very confused, "Toward me how? What do you mean?" Hearing this, Yin immediately leaned close to Xia Yan's ear and whispered, having improper thoughts about you. "If he does, you must tell me. I will protect you with all my might. Even though he's my master, I can't just watch you get taken advantage of." These absurd words left Xia Yin speechless. "What are you talking about? What taken advantage of?" Yin then righteously patted his chest. "That's not important. In short, as long as I'm here, I'll definitely find a good husband for you and see you married off in style. Here, this is the dowry money your big brother has saved for you." Upon hearing this, Xia Yin immediately shot Yin a disdainful look. "This idiot wants to marry me off again." Then, Xia Yin was so angry she slammed the door shut. Seeing the clueless look on Yun's face, Yubo was quite helpless. This kid's emotional intelligence is really something else. Immediately, Yubo showed an intrigued expression. But looking at the leader's reaction, could it be that she's really taken a liking to this kid? What's that old saying again? What's it called? An old clam producing a pearl. An old tree blooming. Impossible, impossible. Although the leader hasn't cultivated the way of heartlessness, her heart is ruthless enough. The next second, Yubo suddenly felt a bone-chilling cold from behind him. The person who had arrived was none other than Xia Yin. Yubo was instantly startled. "Leader, didn't you go back to your room?" Xia Yin said in a deep voice. "Why don't you make your muttering a little louder, so I can hear it more clearly?" "Yubo, this seat should have let you die in a while back then. How old were you then? 5 or 6? A little child's flesh is tender. Wild dogs would surely love to eat it. I brought you back, gave you food and drink, taught you martial arts. Taught you until you learned to gossip about this seat behind my back." Now, Yubo was completely panicked. "I truly know I was wrong. I'll definitely say nothing from now on. I'll keep my mouth shut tight." But Xia Yin dragged the old man into the room to teach him a lesson, and she set up a barrier to prevent Yun from hearing any commotion. Meanwhile, on Yun's side, he was concentrating on gathering spiritual energy. Then, he emitted a gentle breeze, blowing away the accumulated dust in the room. Afterwards, Yun deftly made the bed. He had a feeling that coming to Tianluo City would allow him to collect many spiritual energy beads and trigger many fortuitous encounters. So he decided to rest for a while before going out for a stroll. He had transmigrated so long ago, but he had barely left the territory of the 9 Nether Demon Palace. Little did he know, a person suddenly appeared on his roof and quietly lifted a roof tile. The person was none other than Tian Shui, who wanted to avenge Ding Ning. Then, he gently blew the powder in his hand. This powder was none other than the most wicked, joyful powder from the Joyful Building. After he was done, Tian Shui replaced the tile. "Soon you will be poisoned and unable to control yourself. And joyful powder evaporates extremely quickly, leaving no trace. If you have no way to vent the fire, you will explode and die after 1 incense stick's time. Junior sister Ding Ning, I've finally avenged you." This female demon lord just sniffed from a distance and discovered the disappearing scent. She never expected that the disciple she had picked up back then would be so incapable of even managing her own disciple. But she signaled her disciple to use the man as bait, setting a trap to draw out those traitors. It turns out, just a moment ago, Hien had planned to rest for a bit before going out into Tianluo City to collect spiritual energy beads. But unexpectedly, his nemesis Tian Shui had quietly arrived on the rooftop and secretly administered the most wicked, joyful powder from the Joyful Building. Once poisoned, one would be unable to control themselves, and the drug evaporates extremely quickly, leaving no trace. However, Hien was unaware and was resting on the bed. But after he took a sniff, the goo worm being raised inside his body suddenly stirred with excitement. Hien immediately got up, a little excited. "What's that smell? It smells so good." And as soon as Tian Shui noticed Hien moving, he quickly lifted the tile. There's movement. It must be starting. But after peeking, he felt something was wrong. That's not right. This shouldn't be the reaction. He saw Hien walking back and forth in the room with an excited face, his hands constantly waving in midair. It turned out Yin was constantly collecting the spiritual energy beads that were appearing out of thin air. But he didn't know why so many suddenly appeared. How did I inexplicably trigger a fortuitous encounter? I just lay down. I didn't do anything. First, the goo worm awakened. Then I smelled a fragrance. And then spiritual energy beads appeared out of thin air. Yin, feeling that something was amiss, immediately looked up at the roof. Seeing that Yin was alerted, Tian Shui quickly replaced the tile. Then he quickly turned tail and ran, afraid that Yin would discover his presence. Hearing the sudden sound of footsteps on the roof, Yin realized there was definitely a problem. Meanwhile, Tian Shui only stopped after fleeing for a long time. But his expression was now extremely ugly. Damn it, how could this be? He had no reaction to the joyful powder at all. Then he suddenly heard footsteps beside him. In his anger, he directly grabbed his long sword and slashed out. However, the man easily blocked it with just a folding fan. Junior brother Tian Shui, it's me. After seeing who it was, Tian Shui finally calmed down. Senior brother Bai Chun, so it's you. I didn't expect you to come to Tianluo City too. Bai Chun said with a smile, you're not the only one who cares about Ding Ning. I saw you leave the sect and was afraid you'd act rashly. So I followed you all the way. Junior brother, you just went to Yun's place. How did it go? Tian Shui immediately shook his head. I wanted to use joyful powder to kill him without a trace, but that kid is a bit strange. He wasn't affected at all, unless he has practiced our joyful buildings techniques. Otherwise, it's impossible to resist the effects of joyful powder. Baichen didn't seem surprised by this. I saw that master treats that cook, Yu Bo, with special regard. I'm afraid he has some other background. If we act secretly, it will only arouse suspicion. For now, we have no plan. Let's watch for a few more days. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you will never be defeated. To get rid of him, it's not necessarily better to be more covert. My brilliant idea is to be high profile. Also, now that we're out of the demon cult, don't let your skills get rusty. There's a brothel with a good reputation up ahead. How about it? Let's go check it out. At the same time, after he had finished collecting the spiritual energy beads in his room, he walked out. Then he knocked on Yubo's door. Master, I'm a little confused. Yubo, covering his face, asked in confusion. Confused about what? What's wrong? Why are you staring at my face? It just got dirty from cleaning. After speaking, Yubo couldn't help but complain silently in his heart. It's all the leader's fault. Her tastes are too unique. But he indirectly grabbed his hand and turned, saying, Master, I think there's a problem with my room. Come with me and take a look. An incense stick's time ago, a particularly pleasant fragrance suddenly drifted in, but I can't smell it now. You're sensitive to scents. Can you identify it? However, after sniffing carefully, Yubo shook his head and said, there's no smell. At this moment, Xiaoyan also slowly opened her door. Even from so far away, she could smell the secret within it. Of course there's still a smell. It's joyful powder. Little Kayer, I shouldn't have picked you up back then. Can't even manage your own disciple. Then Xiaoyan gently knocked on the door. Yubo instantly ginderstund. The leader means that he did indeed smell the fragrance. I wonder which fearless brat did this. Let's put out the bait first and see which fish will bite. Thinking of this, Yubo spoke. Yin, there isn't much to do these days anyway. If you have time today, go stroll around the market. I'll investigate the matter of the fragrance further. With your master here, you can rest assured. Ian felt that made sense, so he nodded. I was planning to go out for a stroll anyway. Then I'll have to trouble you with everything, master. The man only wanted to earn money to join a righteous sect, which left the female demon lord speechless. He could clearly live a life of luxury just by clinging to her thigh. But he had only thought of earning money through his own labor. It turned out that earlier, Xia Yin had discovered someone secretly using joyful powder to try and poison He Yin. To find out which blind fool was seeking death, Yubo decided to use He Yun as bait to lure them out. And He Yun, wanting to get more fortuitous encounter fragments, decided to go out for a stroll. After strolling around the city for a bit, He Yun found that in terms of market size, it was similar to the one at the foot of the 9 Nether Demon Palaces mountain, but it was indeed livelier. After all, it was a big city. Suddenly, He Yun was drawn to a very lively stall not far away. Seeing so many people gathered around, he immediately went over curiously. Were they selling? It's so popular. Driven by curiosity, he squeezed in without hesitation, wanting to find out what was going on. However, after taking a closer look, he felt a bit speechless. This guy sells such a mix of things. There are gods and Buddhas from every sect. Just then, a long-haired man suddenly asked, "How much is that wooden guanine?" The stall owner immediately picked up the guanine and quoted a price of 50 copper profound stones. The long-haired man immediately nodded. "The price is okay. Wrap it up for me. By the way, has it been consecrated?" The stall owner, while packing, said with great certainty, "All the magical artifacts sold at my stall have been consecrated by Master Dingguang of Fuguang Temple. If you don't believe me, feel free to go and verify it." He-Yin, standing by, was completely shocked by this transaction. "This thing is worth 50? Are you people in Tianluo City that rich?" Then, He-Yin secretly activated his omniscient talent, preparing to check what the most valuable and best-selling item at this stall was. Soon, the system found that the good luck talisman was the easiest item to sell. Production method: blood of 5 sacrificial animals, yellow paper, and young Master Yun's blessing. Affixing it to the head of the bed can increase one's luck value. The selling price of a good luck talisman is 200 copper profound stones. Seeing how simple the materials and production process were, He-Yin felt this thing was practically an idiot tax. But feeling that getting rich was within reach, he had to earn this idiot tax. No sooner said than done. In the evening, He-Yin returned to their residence with a pile of materials. Seeing this, Xia-Yin couldn't help but ask curiously, "Brother He-Yin, what are all these things you bought? Did you buy so much blood to make Maoxuang tonight? But what are these yellow papers for?" But He-Yin said with a serious face, No. It's not for eating. I plan to write some talismans to sell for money." Hearing this, Yubo, who was watching the fun from the side, couldn't help but ask curiously, "Talismans? You know how to make them?" He-Yin nodded that I've learned a trick or two. I went to the market today and found this stuff is ridiculously expensive and quite a few people buy it. I don't know what the people of Tianluo City are thinking. With that, He-Yin laid out the materials. He began to seriously write the talisman according to the production method given by the system. He first lightly dipped a brush in some blood. Then he wrote quickly on the yellow paper. Soon, he had finished writing a good luck talisman. Such a smooth process made He-Yin secretly rejoice. This talisman actually glows. The little trick I learned from the omniscient talent. It can't really have a buff, can it? I have a premonition I'm going to make a fortune. And Xia-Yin, after hearing that He-Yin was making talismans to sell at a stall, looked helplessly at old Yu on the spot. Then she could only shake her head helplessly and sigh in her heart. "You brat, are you that short on money? Next time you see my real body, just ask for it. It's not like I won't give it to you. Instead of working hard at a stall, it would be better to obediently be this seat's cultivation vessel." But Yubo was a little confused. "I've never starved him or made him suffer. Why is he in such a hurry to make money?" Xia-Yin said helplessly, He wants to save money and then run off to join a righteous sect." These words made Yubo even more confused. This kid grew up in the demon cult. How could he have such a crooked idea? Although Xia-Yin said she didn't know, she understood very well in her heart. He wants to marry me off, and he wants to join a righteous sect. It seems his training is still insufficient. If I were changed back to my real body now, I would definitely teach him a good lesson. Immediately, Xia-Yin blushed again. "I'm actually looking forward to the drunken spring breeze acting up in my heart." Feeling bored, Xia-Yin immediately stood up and said, "I'm sleepy. Master, I'm going to bed. Let's continue tomorrow." With that, Xia-Yin went straight back to her room. Seeing Xia-Yin dejectedly shut the door tightly, Yubo looked at He-Yin, who was passionately writing talismans. Then he spoke with some helplessness. "He-Yin, your master is also going back to his room." And after He-Yin had used up all the materials, looking at the pile of good luck talismans, he felt that he could definitely get rich this time. Early the next morning, He-Yin went out early to set up his stall. He knew not to display too much stock at the beginning, or the price would drop. He had to be good at using scarcity marketing, and his stall quickly attracted the attention of passers-by. "Mother, look quickly. Do you see if that talisman is glowing?" It was also the woman's first time seeing a glowing good luck talisman. She couldn't help but rub her eyes. After confirming, she found that these talismans were indeed really glowing. So she couldn't help but ask, "Sir, have these talismans of yours been consecrated by a master?" He opened his mouth and lied without hesitation, "Yes." These talismans were sought from the abbot of Fatian Temple in Yinchuan Prefecture. Upon hearing this, the woman unhesitatingly said she wanted to buy one to see. And Tian Shui, who was silently watching this scene, said in a low voice, "This Hiyun is truly a pack of lies. He's clearly never been to Yinchuan Prefecture, spouting nonsense without even blushing. This person is detestable, full of lies. Keeping him will only bring more trouble to the Nine Nether Demon Palace." The squinty-eyed senior brother suddenly tapped his folding fan and spoke slowly. "Junior brother Tian Shui, the man has resolutely chosen to make a living by setting up a stall in order to escape the demon cult. However, the female demon lord did not stop him, but decided to use this opportunity to make him recognize reality. Only by clinging to her thigh can he live a life of luxury. Just now, in order to get away from Xia Yin and join a righteous sect, Yin actually wanted to earn money by setting up a stall through his own labor, not knowing that Tian Shui and the other had seized the opportunity. Bai Chun directly stated his plan. To make someone perish, first make them go mad with arrogance. Tian Shui instantly understood. "I understand, senior brother. Let him swindle people here. The more he swindles, the better." Bai Chun immediately nodded. "Junior brother is intelligent. You get it right away. In a few days, you and I will add fuel to the fire, and it will surely be effective." Tian Shui decisively gave his senior brother a thumbs up. "What a great move, killing with a borrowed knife. Senior brother is brilliant." Then the two of them looked at each other and smiled, and then they turned directly and walked towards the brothel not far away. After a few days, Hiyun indeed made a fortune by selling talismans, earning a full 10,000 plus copper profound stones. This was more than he had saved in over 10 years at the Nine Nether Demon Palace. "If I can stay in Tianluo City, I'll be well off sooner or later." Hiyun, in a great mood, immediately threw his earnings onto his cart, preparing to return to his residence to rest. Unexpectedly, an old woman suddenly rushed out and shouted at him, "Don't go. You stop right there. Everyone come quickly. This person wants to ruin my family. Everyone look, this is a jinx." Ian was completely dumbfounded by this. "Old lady, have you mistaken me for someone else? I don't know you at all." The old woman exploded upon hearing this. "It's the work of that evil talisman you sold." "What good luck talisman? It's clearly harmful. It must be a talisman cursed by an evil god." Just then, the young woman who had bought a talisman not long ago also hurried over, shouting that someone had died. She cried as she walked, looking anxious. She quickly grabbed Hiyun's cart and screamed hoarsely, "You killed my son. After buying your talisman, my son lost his appetite and finally starved to death. Give me back my son's life." Seeing the woman crying so pitifully on the ground, Hiyun became more and more helpless. "Ma'am, I really don't understand what's going on. My talismans can't possibly harm people." Seeing Hiyun being berated by the crowd and surrounded with no way to defend himself. In contrast, Tian Shui and his companion were calm and composed. This scene made Tian Shui very satisfied. Gossip can melt metal. 100 mouths are hard to argue against. This is wonderful to watch. Bai Chen couldn't help but chuckle. Now that someone has indeed died, let's see how he gets out of this. Tian Shui immediately praised him. "Senior brother's move is brilliant. I am in awe." And although Hiyun was being held tightly by the two women, he was certain his talismans would absolutely not harm anyone. Finding himself completely surrounded by passers-by, he quickly forced himself to calm down. He quickly guessed that someone must be framing him. But who could that person be? Yu Bo, seeing that things were getting out of hand, indicated, "Let me see." Unexpectedly, he was stopped by Xia Yin. "Norus, let's see how he handles it himself. Consider a trial to temper his character." Then Xia Yin nodded with satisfaction. He calmed down quickly. "Not bad." And Hiyun spoke very decisively. "Ladies, if there's a problem with my talismans, I am willing to take full responsibility, even with my life. But I believe they only bring good luck and would never harm anyone." The young woman was still relentless. "My son is dead. No matter how nice you sound, those are just words to protect yourself." Seeing that communication was impossible, Hiyun immediately spoke. "Then let's report it to the authorities. Let the government investigate your son's incident. I'm also heartbroken, but this was definitely not my doing." Then he turned to look at the old woman. "What is the situation with your family? Can you take me to see? If you don't feel at ease, then let the authorities escort me to take a look. That way, you should be able to rest assured, right?" And Bai Chun, seeing how calmly Hiyun handled the situation, couldn't help but frown and ponder. This Hiyun is too composed. I'm increasingly convinced that the Changming soul is related to this person. It might really be on him. The sudden release of the news might not be a coincidence. What on earth is his background? And Hiyun saw the two women looking bewildered. He couldn't help but sigh softly. Then he cupped his hands to the onlookers and said, "Excuse me, could someone report this to the authorities for me?" And Xia Yin suddenly asked Yubo, "You went to the Nine Heavens Immortal sect this morning. How was it? Did you see my younger sister, Xia Shuang?" Yubo shook his head that, "No. Sect Master Wu has left Tianzhou. I heard she won't be back until next month." Hearing this, Xia Yin immediately pouted. "She leaves as soon as I arrive. What a coincidence. Fine. Then let's stay in Tianluo City for a while." Yubo then asked with some curiosity, "Then how should we handle Hiyun's matter?" Xia Yin immediately showed a playful smile. "Just let him report it to the authorities," as he said. Yubo couldn't help but scratch his head helplessly. What does reporting to the authorities in Tianluo City mean? You should know, right? Xia Yin immediately chuckled. "It means they arrest everyone first." Look at his "the innocent need no defense" attitude. He really is just a child. Hearing this, Yubo couldn't help but mutter under his breath. You know he's just a child, yet you, several hundred-year-old demon cult leader, can still make a move on him. The strange poison in the female demon lord's body acted up again. However, not only was she not annoyed, she actually felt unusually excited. She even eagerly rushed in the man's direction, only because she had long wanted to teach the man a good lesson. Make him give up the idea of joining a righteous sect and focus on clinging to her thigh to live a life of luxury. It turned out that just now, Hien was framed in a setup by Tian Shui and the others. Helpless, he had no choice but to report it to the authorities. However, Xiaoyan chose not to help, opting to watch from the sidelines to see how He Yun would handle it. Only after He Yun was arrested and imprisoned did Yu Bo and Xia Yin come to the dungeon. The jailer directly banged on the cell bars. "He Yun, your family is here to see you. The trial is this afternoon. You'd better be prepared." Hearing the voice, He Yun slowly looked outside the cell. Seeing that the visitors were Yu Bo and Xia Yin, he immediately perked up. But Yu Bo teased, "Good disciple, how did you get rich all the way into the dungeon?" He Yun's face immediately darkened. "Master, stop making fun of me. I was most likely set up." Yubo then grinned. "Wanted to give you a hint?" Hearing this, Hien immediately got excited. "Do you have a clue?" Yubo nodded. "A few days ago, you said a fragrance suddenly drifted into the room." Speaking of this, he couldn't help but sneak a glance at Xia Yan's expression. Then he continued, "That smell should be the joyful powder from the joyful building. Normally, after smelling it, if you don't vent the fire within 1 incense stick's time, you will explode and die. Perhaps that demoness who slept with you did something to you, allowing you to escape this calamity." He instantly understood. It must be the goo worm that the demoness put in my body that helped me neutralize the poison. So he secretly decided to repay that demoness double next time. Yubo then stood up and asked, "The trial is this afternoon. Can you handle it?" He said with some confidence, "It depends. I can still handle it for now. If it really doesn't work out, Master, don't abandon me." Yubo didn't want his legs broken by the leader, so he quickly gestured, "Don't worry. We'll be watching from the outside." With Yubo's assurance, Hyun's anxious heart finally settled. "Master treats me so well, it's beyond words." An incense stick's time later, it was time for the trial. Hyun was brought to the courtroom by a group of officers. As soon as Hyun entered the court, the magistrate directly began the inquiry. "Which side do you want to examine first?" Hyun thought for a moment and then stated directly that he wanted to see the child first. As he finished speaking, the magistrate walked to the young woman's side and said a few words in a low voice. Then he turned and waved to someone outside the court. "Come here." Then a board covered with a white cloth was carried in. Hyun's expression instantly became complicated. He couldn't help but grit his teeth and curse inwardly. "To frame me, they actually used a child. Truly unforgivable." After lifting the white cloth, he decisively activated his omniscient talent to inquire about the cause of illness for this child and the fainted family in the opposite room. The result, the child had a silver needle inserted into his brain, inducing anorexia, leading to death by malnutrition. The others are the same, but they're temporarily alive due to stronger constitutions. Removing the silver needles as soon as possible can save them. After getting the information, he immediately raised his hand to indicate he had a discovery. Then he pointed to the child's forehead. "Look, sir, there seems to be a foreign object on his head." After confirming, the magistrate's expression changed immediately. "Someone, go get the coroner." After a careful examination by the coroner, he soon pulled out an extremely thin silver needle. And the appearance of this silver needle shocked everyone. He thought to himself, "The joyful building is best at using silver needles on acupoints to control people, altering their appetite and desires. Master said the fragrance was joyful powder. This needle most likely also comes from the joyful building. Someone really wants me dead. Could it still be because of Ding Ning's matter? A personal grudge against me has actually implicated innocent people. Thinking of this, Hien quickly spoke up to remind them. Sir, that family in the opposite room most likely also has needles in them. Quickly summoned doctors and the coroner for a consultation. At the same time, outside the courtroom, Yu Bo and Xia Yin were waiting quietly outside. After a long while, Xia Yin finally stood up and ordered, "Go find out which brainless person did this. And while you're at it, write a letter to little Kayer. Tell her to cause me less trouble. Does she think I don't have enough trouble already?" Hearing this, Yu Bo quickly cupped his fist respectfully and said, "Understood, leader." And Xia Yin suddenly felt a strong wave of dizziness in her head. Then she quickly flew away from this place. Without looking back, she said, "You go investigate the case. I'm going to recuperate. See you later." Seeing this, Yubo immediately became slightly excited. Is the drunken spring breeze acting up? Leader, you're not thinking of doing it in the prison, are you? This strong mental image made Yubo feel an irresistible urge to go and watch. The female demon lord forced her way into the dungeon to detoxify. However, the man said it was not convenient to go all out here. He could only use his techniques to temporarily suppress the poison for her. Just now, He Yun, through his omniscient talent, had found the perpetrator's method. The magistrate was very surprised by this. Such a hidden technique, you discovered it quite quickly. He Yun quickly cupped his hands and replied, "It is only natural for you to still suspect me, sir. This humble one knows a little about medicine and can identify various herbs. It's easier for me to notice this kind of technique than for an ordinary person. If you don't believe me, sir, you can find out by checking at the main market. This humble one has been selling goods all these days, seen by people at all times. I had no time to commit the crime. Besides, I'm only after money. Why would I harm my customers and smash my own rice bowl and throw myself into a pit of fire from which I can never recover? It's a contradiction. It doesn't make sense." As soon as these words were spoken, the magistrate fell into deep thought. "Before the case is settled, you still need to be held in custody. Do you have any objections?" He Yun immediately stated he had no objections, "that I will listen to your judgment, sir." Afterwards, He Yun was escorted back to the jail by the officers. After some thought, He Yun had a rough guess as to who the culprit was. Joyful building. The one who hates me the most right now must be Ding Ning's senior brother, Tian Shui. Could it be that he followed me to Tianluo City? He must be bored out of his mind. The next moment, He Yun suddenly felt a chill down his spine, accompanied by a wave of heat. So he hurriedly turned around and saw a cloud of black mist appear in the corner. Then, Xia Yan's hand reached out from the black mist. Then she patted the floor, signaling for He Yun to come over. Hearing the sound, He Yun's expression changed instantly. He never thought he would run into this fellow disciple here too. But Xia Yan crawled out of the black mist, somewhat impatiently. Then she slowly spoke, "Still not coming over? Do you want me to take the initiative?" He Yun was instantly speechless. "You can just come and go, as you please, anywhere." Seeing He Yun dawdling there, Xia Yan instantly grabbed him. "You talk so much nonsense." Seeing this, He Yun quickly shook his head frantically. "This place really isn't suitable. I'm still a prisoner. Do you want my crime to be even worse?" Hearing this, Xia Yan gradually calmed down, realizing that this place was indeed not very suitable. However, the poison in her body made her extremely uncomfortable. She couldn't help but grit her teeth. "But I'm really uncomfortable right now. I'm poisoned. If you cure the poison, I definitely won't bother you again." Xia Yan's aggrieved tone, coupled with her pitiful appearance, made He Yun's heart melt instantly. He couldn't help but curse inwardly. "Damn Demoness, this pitiful look is really captivating." So he said in a low voice, "This place isn't suitable for the full treatment. I'll use my hands to help you with the emergency first. I'll make it up to you when I get out." He suddenly felt like he was in death. Xia Yan kept urging him, "Less nonsense. What are you going to do? Hurry up. I've been waiting for you for a long time. My whole body hurts now." These words made He Yun even more annoyed. "You really just see me as a tool, don't you?" Afterwards, He Yun stopped talking nonsense and directly reached out to start working seriously. With He Yun's skilled hands, Xia Yan gradually began to feel less pain. Soon, Xia Yan was immersed in He Yun's skillful techniques and couldn't extricate herself. But when He Yun wanted to go a little deeper to treat her, because it was too sudden, Xia Yan couldn't help but let out a scream. He Yun quickly covered her mouth and said irritably, "Don't make such a loud noise. The neighboring cells are full of prisoners, and there are jailers too. With that, Heian activated his omniscient talent, wanting to find the most sensitive and easiest places on Xia Yan's body to alleviate the drunken spring breeze. After inquiry, the key point is the dimples of her lower back. Pressing and kneading can provide short-term relief. Heian immediately gave a faint smile. Wait for me to give you a proper massage. Xia Yan was speechless at this. What I need now is the technique to relieve the drunken spring breeze. Not a massage, but Heian said firmly, in any case, just cover your mouth for me. Although she didn't know what Heian was going to do, Xia Yan still hurriedly covered her mouth. Then she cooperated with Heian, turning over and lying prone on the ground. But she still couldn't help but complain inwardly. Didn't he say he would use his hands? This position, a man's words. And Heian directly started the massage, telling her to endure it no matter what. Then, Heian, following the method pointed out by the omniscient talent, began to repeatedly knead and massage Xia Yan's lower back. And his technique was extremely proper and skilled. The toxicity of the drunken spring breeze was also gradually suppressed. Xia Yan was now full of doubt. He's actually really giving me a massage. Little did they know, the commotion just now had already attracted the jailer's attention. He seemed to have heard a woman's voice, and he quickly locked onto the source of the sound, wanting to go over and investigate. The female demon lord recklessly broke into the dungeon, just to have the man help her alleviate the drunken spring breeze's poison. Faced with the pitiful female demon, the man had no choice but to helplessly agree. But because this place was not suitable for the full treatment, he quickly said he would temporarily use his techniques to suppress it. Although being treated as a tool made him a bit annoyed, he still began to treat Xia Yan seriously. However, the treatment made Xia Yan unable to stop herself from making sounds. This gave Ian a headache, but with the help of his omniscient talent, he discovered that massage could also alleviate the poison's flare-up. However, the dungeon's jailer had just heard a woman's voice coming from the cell. To see what was going on, he picked up his lantern and walked in. This terrified Xia Yan. She quickly covered her mouth, trying her best not to make a single sound. Then, the jailer's shout was heard. "What are you doing? What do you think this place is? If you cause any more trouble, see if I don't sort you out." Hearing this, Xia Yan shuddered. She subconsciously wanted to get up and run, but the tingling sensation that followed made her sink into it once more. She desperately bit her lip to keep from making a sound. Her eyes glazed over as she thought to herself, how is it possible not to make a sound? I can't hold it in anymore. So tingly. Fortunately, the jailer didn't discover what they were doing. The jailer's voice came again. "If you make any more noise, you'll be sorry. You're already in the slammer, and you're still gambling?" Meanwhile, after finishing his technique, Heian leaned close to Xia Yan's ear and teased, "How is it? Has it eased up a bit?" Xia Yan immediately shot him a glare. "You're asking the obvious." Hearing this, Heian suddenly pulled Xia Yan up. Then he asked the soul-searching question again. "Your true identity. When you plan on telling me? You're not from a joyful building, are you? Nor from the Valley of 10,000 Insects. Who exactly are you?" Xia Yan didn't answer directly. Instead, she showed a playful smile and asked back, "Who I am? Is it that important?" Heian immediately shook his head helplessly. Then he smiled faintly. "Although it's true that it's not important, you know everything about me, while I know nothing about you. That's not fair." But Xia Yan suddenly got up and started tidying her clothes. Then, without looking back, she chuckled lightly. "Men don't know how to cherish a woman who is too easy to get. My identity, you could just guess." With that said, Xia Yan reverted to her high and mighty demoness posture. Heian had used up his know-it-all uses for the day, but he couldn't help but try to bluff her. "What a coincidence. I have a technique that can tell me who you are once I activate it." But Xia Yan didn't believe he had such an ability at all. "Then why don't you use it on me?" However, Heian put on an expression as if everything was under his control. For some questions, it's no fun to just copy the answer. Unexpectedly, Xia Yan slapped his hand away. Then she stood up and said dismissively, "This question, I'm afraid you won't be able to solve it. Maybe next time." With that, Xia Yan looked down at Heian with a glance. Then her whole body turned into a cloud of pink mist and whistled out the window. Seeing this, Heian couldn't help but crack his knuckles and sigh. Ah, humans. Such conflicted creatures. On one hand, restraining the urge to use it. On the other, desperately wanting to know. But well, when you put them together, that's what makes it exciting. Then Ian stopped overthinking it, lay down flat, and started to rest. Early the next morning, Heian was summoned to the court. It was determined that Heian had no motive and no opportunity to commit the crime. The talismans he sold had been verified and were harmless. As soon as this was said, the two women broke down and cried. Who on earth wants to harm our whole family? Because what the joyful building had done this time was too outrageous. Implicating ordinary people, Hien would absolutely not forgive them. So he promised, I will get to the bottom of this matter and give you an explanation. Then Hien left the court and returned to the small house from before. Entering the door, Ian shouted, Master, little Wushan, I'm back. Master, since it's confirmed to be joyful powder, can't we have the joyful building severely punish the person who framed me? Doesn't our 9-nether demon palace forbid harming our own people? Yubo heard this and immediately responded, Of course we can. We just need to identify who did it. Ian immediately gritted his teeth and said, Then we have to lure the snake out of its hole. It didn't succeed this time. They will definitely plan another frame-up. I can't just sit and wait. Besides, that mastermind isn't smart, only capable of petty tricks. I will make that bastard pay the price for wantonly killing the innocent. After speaking, Hien felt like something was missing, right? Why haven't I seen little Wushan? Yubo pointed to the room behind him. She's not feeling well. She's lying down. The man had just gotten out of jail, only to be tragically backstabbed by his master. This was because techniques alone couldn't completely suppress the poison in the leader's body. In order to relieve the leader, Yubo had no choice but to knock the man out and throw him into the leader's room. Just now, Hien had been cleared of motive and evidence. Therefore, he was acquitted on the spot. Because the joyful building had implicated ordinary people this time, Hien assured the victims that he would definitely find the culprit. But after returning to the small house, he looked left and right but couldn't find Xia Yin anywhere. Yubo pointed to the room next to them, indicating she wasn't feeling well and was resting. Meanwhile, after Tian Shui learned that Yun had been acquitted, he immediately gritted his teeth. He got away so easily. What kind of damn luck is that? To let those constables find the silver needles. Such fine needles, an ordinary coroner would never notice. Beside him, Bai Chun pondered for a moment, then lightly tapped the table, interrupting Tian Shui's complaint. Then, with a look of confidence, he stated that he had a new plan. Using others' hands has too many variables, just like this time, since we are all in Tianluo City. As long as that Yubo isn't around, you and I can join forces and cut the weeds by the roots. This place is a stronghold of the orthodox sections. If a member of the demonic sect dies, they'd be overjoyed. Sometimes being too cautious backfires. A swift battle to a quick conclusion. Catch him off guard. Junior brother, what do you think? Although he felt what Bai Chan said made sense, Tian Shui was still cautious. Senior brother, I want to add another layer of insurance. Senior brother, don't make a move first. On the surface, I have the biggest conflict with him. You just need to be there to bear witness that I was forced to counterattack and accidentally killed a fellow sect member. It will be easier to explain afterward. Hearing this, Bai Chun immediately nodded repeatedly. Junior brother Tian Shui, your work is flawless. I, your senior brother, am truly impressed. Seeing they had reached a consensus, Tian Shui immediately raised his cup and said, Senior brother, here's to our swift success. However, what Tian Shui didn't notice was a fleeting, ruthless glint in Bai Chen's eyes. Clearly, successfully tricking Tian Shui into dealing with Yun was a result that greatly satisfied him. Meanwhile, after learning that Xia Yin was sick, Hien knocked on her door. Seeing no movement inside, Yubo explained she might be asleep. But at this moment, Xia Yin was still troubled by the poison of drunken spring breeze. Because although the technique in the dungeon had temporarily suppressed the poison, it was only a brief relief. I didn't expect this kid to be released so quickly. Outside the door, Hien was a bit helpless. Why do I feel like little Wushan is always sick? But Yubo interrupted irritably. Is she? She's just sleeping. Don't disturb her. Listening to the continuous knocking outside, Xia Yin felt herself growing more and more agitated. The Taishu Pavilion's main headquarters is right here in Tianluo City. Once I recover a bit this time, I won't spare them. So annoying. Stop knocking. I can't hold it in much longer. Yubo sensed the leader's condition and secretly plotted how to get Yun inside without arousing his suspicion. After a while, Yun turned and said, It seems little Wushan really is asleep. I won't disturb her then. Master, I'm going to lie down for a bit too. My back is sore. Just then, Yubo suddenly had an idea. He casually picked up a head of garlic. Then he aimed at the back of Yun's head and threw it. Yun let out a cry and immediately lost consciousness. The well-prepared Yu-Bo dodged and steadily caught Hiyun. Then he muttered without any guilt, "Good disciple. You've been wronged. You're like half a son to me. I'm also like half a son to the leader. It's only natural for a son to be filial to his mother." Then you both thought for a moment, feeling that what he just said was a bit contradictory. The relationships were truly messy. So he dragged Hiyun towards Xia Yan's room. "Forget it. Let's just keep our relationships separate. In you go." Then he opened Xia Yan's door and threw Hiyun straight inside. Unexpectedly, the throw landed Hiyun right on top of Xia Yan. After that, Yubo quickly closed the door and thought to himself, "I'm truly so filial to the leader." As expected of me, time passed from dawn to dusk. As night approached, Hiyun was finally thrown out of the room by Xia Yan. He was still unconscious. Meanwhile, Xia Yan, feeling completely refreshed, finally had her smile back. "Little Yubo, this seat is very satisfied with your performance today." Being praised, Yubo immediately chuckled. "If you're happy, I'm happy." Then Xia Yan ordered, "This kid is indeed useful. He can handle things even while unconscious. Make him some fine fish and meat tonight. Put some extra 1,000-year-old ginseng in his soup. Call me again for dinner. I'm going to rest for a bit. I am truly exhausted." Seeing Xia Yan close the door, Yubo secretly grumbled. From dawn to dusk, you're no ordinary person. And this kid is even less ordinary. Ian didn't wake up until after nightfall, but he felt uncomfortable all over. "Master, the back of my neck really hurts, and my dantian feels a bit empty, like I've been hollowed out." She is an ancient demonic sect monster who is cultivated for 1,000 years. Now, she hides her identity and sets up a stall on the street, only to find out which blind fool dared to bully the man she claimed. It turned out that just now, because Iyun was sold out by his cheap master, he felt sore all over, and his dantian was a bit empty, as if he'd been hollowed out. Seeing this, Yubo quickly explained, "You were just wrongly accused and imprisoned. You're plagued by bad luck, and they might have given you some kind of drug. The after effects were too strong, so you fainted. It's normal to have a sore back when you wake up, right, little Wu Shan?" Hearing this, Xiaoyan quickly chimed in, "Brother Hiyun, drink up. Master specially brewed this for you. You'll be full of life right after you drink it." But Hiyun was very hesitant. "This soup smells so bitter." Yubo was instantly displeased. Good medicine tastes bitter. Besides training, cultivation also requires medicinal supplements. A two-pronged approach is the only way to break through and advance. Now Hiyun couldn't say anything more. He forced himself to drink it despite the discomfort. Seeing this, Yubo and Xia Yan exchanged a satisfied glance. Not until Yun had been made to drink 8 bowls of ginseng soup to replenish his deficit. Only then did Yubo cautiously return to the room. Then he complained with some helplessness. "Leader, although you were poisoned by drunken spring breeze, you took way too much. I took his pulse while the kid was fast asleep. He's a bit kidney deficient now." Xia Yin was instantly enraged. "Was it my choice? In a few days, I'm going to the Taishu Pavilion to demand an explanation. They dare to plot against me? Do they think that because I've been in seclusion all these years, they can walk all over this seat?" Seeing this, Yubo quickly tried to persuade her. "Then please be gentle. Don't actually annihilate their sect. There are many orthodox sects now, and they love to form alliances. In short, if we provoke public outrage, it will be difficult for our 9 nether demon sect to handle." Xiaoyan snorted coldly. "If they obediently hand over the antidote for drunken spring breeze, this seat can consider leaving them a way out. Wu Xia Shuang has been avoiding me. You go and bring her back to Tianluo City for me." Hearing this, Yubo was immediately helpless. Sect Master Xia Shuang is not like those useless members of ordinary orthodox sections. She's your own sister. You overestimate me. Unexpectedly, Xia Yin directly forced him to shut up. "Get beaten to death by me. Pick one. Within 7 days, I want to see Wu Xia Shuang. Otherwise, you can live, but it will be a life worse than death." Seeing Xia Yin was serious, Yubo could only mutter quietly, "So fierce. Who would dare to marry you in the future?" However, Xia Yin gave a sinister smile. "You're muttering on purpose for me to hear, aren't you? Fine. If no one marries me, I'll go and kill that old flame of yours. We can live a life of motherly love and filial piety forever." Now Yubo completely broke down. "Master, isn't it just your sister? I'll bring her here." Only then did Xia Yin pat Yubo's head in satisfaction. "So obedient. This is the obedient little boy I picked up back then." It wasn't until broad daylight the next day that Yin got out of bed, but he still felt like all the bones in his body were about to fall apart. The back of his neck was still just as painful. After looking around, Yin was puzzled. "Little Wu Shan, you're up so early? Where's our old master?" Xia Yin immediately teased, "Brother Hyun, the sun is already high in the sky. It's not early at all. Master went out early. He said he was going to purchase goods and would be back in a few days." Hyun couldn't help but yawn and say, "I slept for a whole morning? Why am I still a little sleepy?" Hyun couldn't help but curse inwardly. Holy crap, don't tell me it's because I was drained too much by that demoness, and the signs of yang deficiency are finally showing? I was quite active after being drained the last few times. Could it be that those times were a final burst of energy before the end? Hyun quickly shook off the thought. Then he packed his things, saying he was going to set up his stall. However, when Xia Yin asked, he still said he was going to the street. It's a good chance to lure the snake out of its hole. Isn't someone trying to harm me right now? To get rid of me? They're even willing to harm innocent people. I can't let this slide. If he doesn't want me to have a good time, then I'll force him out and make sure he doesn't have a good time either. But when Xia Yin said she wanted to go with him, Hyun flatly refused. That's not a good idea. What if it's really people from the Joyful Building? But Xia Yin moved closer. Many hands make light work. I'll protect you. I can protect you. Don't you believe me? To this, Hyun could only smile helplessly. You're a young girl with no strength to even trust a chicken. How can you protect me? If you really want to go, that's fine too. No matter what happens, you hide behind me. Then the two of them arrived at the place where they had set up the stall before. They began to lay out the already written talismans. Meanwhile, two figures were hiding around the corner, watching them. Tian Shui said with great contempt, "What a poor wretch. Just got out of jail, not thinking about recuperating, and he still dares to swagger around town." The man finally stopped hiding his skills and made a domineering move. Unexpectedly, his overbearing aura deeply captivated Xia Yin. Just now, in order to get revenge on Hyun, Tian Shui had come to his stall and publicly said he had killed a fellow sect member and escaped. Seeing this, Hyun retorted, "Tian Shui, you're so insistent on seeking the truth for a traitor to the sect. Could it be that you're a traitor too?" However, Tian Shui scoffed at this. Junior sister Ding Ning was in the Joyful Building for over a decade. I know what kind of person she was better than anyone, and I am one of my master's most valued disciples. If I were a traitor, then what would that make my master? Hearing this, Hyun immediately replied, "I've said those exact words before. How come when I say it, it's just a lame excuse?" Now, Hyun was certain that Tian Shui was the one who had framed him. "I'm currently accompanying my master in Tianluo City on business. I don't have time to waste with you. If you're looking for trouble over Ding Ning's matter, either go back and ask the elders to judge." However, Tian Shui was dead set on finding trouble. He sneered directly, "You're a member of the demonic sect. Who would dare to buy your things? I'm just not going to let you do business." Now, Hyun was completely enraged. "So you're saying you're determined to go against me, is that it?" Seeing Hyun take the bait, Tian Shui put on an even more punchable expression. "What? Are you thinking of killing me too?" Then Hyun turned to look at Xia Yin. "Little Wushan, be my witness. I'm forced to do this now." Xia Yin quietly agreed. "I didn't expect this kid Tian Shui to be so determined to court death." But Tian Shui didn't take Hyun seriously at all. He was the first to draw his sword and shout, "Hyun, you're the one who wanted to make the first move." Hyun said nonchalantly, "Fine, fine, fine. You've said everything there is to say." Seeing this, Xia Yin secretly decided, "Little Kuer, I'll deal with you when we get back. I have a pile of things to do, and you can't even manage your own disciple, causing trouble for me." Meanwhile, Tian Shui eagerly grabbed his long sword and charged at Hyun. He was clearly confident of victory. "Junior sister Ding Ning, I'm avenging you." Unexpectedly, Hyun suddenly changed his palm into a claw. His speed was so fast that Tian Shui couldn't react at all. He was directly grabbed by the neck by Hyun. As Hyun's grip tightened, the weapon in Tian Shui's hand immediately fell. He couldn't help but say with a face full of disbelief, "How is this possible? He's clearly just a handyman in the demonic sect's kitchen." Then Tian Shui stared at Hyun and gritted his teeth. "You actually hid your strength. It really was you." Hyun said very bluntly, "I'll give you two choices now. Either die, or come with me to the Yamen and explain how you framed me." But Tian Shui wasn't flustered at all. "You dare to kill me? Don't forget the sect's rules." Xia Yin, standing by, was also very curious. She wanted to know if Hyun would finish Tian Shui off. Little did she know, Hyun was also in a bit of a bind. With so many people watching, if he really snapped his neck, it would be very difficult to explain. Just then, people from the yamen had also arrived after hearing the commotion. They shouted at Hiyun, asking what he was doing. Helpless, Hiyun had to let go. Then he said from a commanding position, "You're lucky today, but next time, you won't be so lucky." After seeing Hiyun, the officer immediately frowned and said, "It's you again, kid." Hiyun quickly said awkwardly, "It's just a small misunderstanding. That person knocked over my stall. We had a bit of a dispute." Then Hiyun discovered that Tian Shui had actually taken advantage of the gap to sneak away. The officer asked again. "The person who reported this said you're a member of the demonic sect." Hiyun quickly chuckled. "May I ask, which demonic sect member would be so bold as to come set up a stall in a place swarming with orthodox sects? What do you think, officer?" Seeing Hiyun bluff his way through, Xiaoyan secretly laughed. "You just let Tian Shui run away like that?" Hiyun shook his head. "He chased me here from a 9-nether demon palace. Within a few days, he used joyful powder on me and then framed me for murder. Just now, he deliberately targeted me with great fanfare. He'll probably be back soon. We'll deal with whatever comes our way. And even if he tries something, he's no match for me. Don't be afraid, little sister." Xiaoyan immediately let out a cry of admiration. "Brother Hiyun, you're so amazing." After sneaking away, Tian Shui secretly made his way to a deserted alley. He couldn't help but feel some lingering fear. That kid is actually that strong. I'm already at the 31st level, yet he subdued me in an instant. What level is he exactly? And what's the background of this Yubo? Suddenly, Tian Shui heard faint footsteps behind him. Still shaken, Tian Shui was like a bird startled by the twang of a bough. Then he breathed a sigh of relief. "So it's senior brother Bai Chun. I didn't expect to miscalculate." He had just let down his guard when a sharp pain shot through his body. He saw that half a fan had already been plunged into his chest. Then Bai Chun let out a sinister laugh. "Junior brother Tian Shui, your deep affection for junior sister Ding Ning truly moves me. He's so strong, I was afraid I couldn't beat him. So I'll borrow your true chi." With that, Bai Chun activated his own technique. Even though Tian Shui was extremely unwilling, he was powerless to resist. In the end, he was thrown to the ground like a piece of rotten wood by Bai Chun. Feeling the abundant true chi in his body, Bai Chun immediately sneered. "Not bad, truly refreshing. Junior brother Tian Shui, I actually admire you as a person, but it's truly a pity. The righteous and the evil cannot coexist. I am a righteous man, destined from birth to kill members of the demonic sect." After speaking, he slowly withdrew his iron fan. Then he spoke again. "But rest assured, our fake senior-junior brother bond still exists. I will definitely eliminate Hiyun for you." The man was certain his enemy would come for him in the middle of the night. To protect the little junior sister he had picked up, he actually suggested they sleep in the same room at night, just to prevent any accidents from happening to Xiaoyan. Just now, in order to successfully take down Hiyun, Bai Chun ruthlessly seized Tian Shui's cultivation. After all, as an undercover agent for the orthodox sects, he had treated Tian Shui as cannon fodder from the very beginning. As the #1 Orthodox sect in Tianluo City, the Taishu Pavilion's architecture was grand and imposing. But Bai Chun covered his face, afraid of his tracks being discovered. Entering the sect, he knocked on Elder Guan's room. Guan Jun was Ding Ning and Bai Chin's martial uncle, possessing a combat power of level 41. After seeing that the visitor was Bai Chun, he cautiously looked left and right. Only after confirming that no one had seen him did he let him into the room. But Guan Jun still asked, "No one discovered your tracks, right?" After Bai Chun gently shook his head, Guan Jun asked in confusion, "Why did you suddenly come back?" Bai Chin's brow immediately tightened, and he said in a grave tone, "Junior sister Ding Ning is dead." Guan Jun's face fell upon hearing this. "Dead? What happened? Does her master know about this?" Bai Chun shook his head. "I didn't dare to hastily write and inform our master. We still haven't found junior sister Ding Ning's body, but it's almost certain that she's dead. The killer is from a 9-nether demon palace, named Hiyun." Hearing this, Guan Jun couldn't help but stroke his beard. The name Hiyun, why does it sound so familiar? I feel like I've heard it somewhere. Bai Chun spoke again. "Rumor has it that the Changming soul is on this kid. I didn't believe it at first, until I saw him fight with a member of the demonic sect. He's clearly just a kitchen handyman, yet he defeated a level 31 demonic sect disciple in one blow. He must have been hiding his strength before. The possibility of the Changming soul being on this person is very high. As soon as these words were spoken, Guanjun immediately slammed the table and shouted, "Where is this person now?" Bai Chun stated that Heyin was currently in Tianluo City. Guanjun ordered without hesitation, capture him first, then question him. Find out the whereabouts of the Changming soul, then avenge your junior sister. Bai Chun immediately responded, "As you command," a sinister glint appearing in his eyes. Before long, it was late at night. Only Heyin and the other person were left in the small courtyard. Heyin was certain that Tian Shui would come tonight. He deliberately chose a time when Master is not here to make a move. He certainly won't delay. If not tonight, then tomorrow. He wants to get rid of me as soon as possible to avoid any complications. However, Xia Yin didn't take it to heart. "You think Tian Shui will come for revenge tonight? Your guess sounds very reasonable. I am sleepy. Brother Heyin, I'm going to bed." However, Heyin grabbed her hand and said with a serious face, "Tonight, you're sleeping with me. I don't feel safe with you being alone." Instantly, Xia Yin was secretly delighted, but on the surface, she pretended to be reserved, nodding and reluctantly agreeing. She had originally planned to take a stroll around the Taishu pavilion tonight. Now it seemed she could only carry out her plan after Heyin fell asleep. Then Heyin quickly moved his bedding over. After making a pallet on the floor, he said, "Master isn't here. I will definitely protect you." After speaking, Heyun's hands suddenly paused. An ominous thought surfaced. Speaking of which, what if that demoness has another episode tonight and comes looking for me? That would be a bit difficult. No, why am I nervous about her? She's an emotionless demon who only sees me as a tool. Seeing Heyin lie down in a huff, Xia Yin couldn't help but mutter to herself, "What's wrong with this kid? He suddenly looks angry and awkward." But Xia Yin didn't dwell on it. After all, she had things to do tonight. So she lay down, indicating she was going to sleep. Time passed quickly, and it was soon late at night. Outside, the moon was dark and the wind was high. Bai Chun and the other person also took this opportunity to arrive at Heyun's residence. He first stated that he wanted to find out the whereabouts of the Changming soul, and then kill Heyun to avenge Ding Ning. Just as Bai Chan was about to go down, Guanjun suddenly signaled for him to wait. After seeing Xia Yin come out of the house, he asked in confusion, "Who is that woman?" Bai Chun immediately took the opportunity to slander Heyin. Damn it, this Heyin actually made a move on his own junior sister. As expected of someone from the demonic sect, utterly shameless. Guanjun immediately gritted his teeth. The Orthodox Sect Alliance is already discussing a crusade against the 9 Nether Demon Palace. There will probably be action soon. This kind of irredeemably evil sect should have been eradicated long ago. But why is she going out in the middle of the night? As far as I know, she's a commoner girl that Heyin brought back. Hearing this, Guanjun immediately gestured. That is a bit strange. You follow her. Hearing this, Bai Chun decisively turned and began to tail Xia Yin. But at this moment, Bai Chun seemed absent-minded. "Sorry, Martial Uncle. I have more important things to do tonight. You and Heyin are both rare nutrients for me. I need to find a place to watch the tigers fight from a mountaintop." In contrast, Guanjun leaped from the roof without any sense of alarm. After landing, he quickly located Heyun's room. Then he strode forward and poked a hole in the window paper with his finger. Then he skillfully blew a tube of knockout gas into the room. He saw Heyin inside, unsuspectingly inhaling the gas. Only then did Guanjun open the door. With things progressing so smoothly, Guanjun couldn't help but feel secretly pleased. Completely unguarded, the man stayed by the girl's side to protect her, but unexpectedly, she left in the middle of the night. Coincidentally, Guanjun injected knockout gas into his room through the window. Then, seeing no movement from Heyin, he entered. Little did he know that Heyin was only pretending to be asleep. I didn't expect that besides helping my stomach, the goo worm the demoness put in me could also break down knockout gas. The footsteps are lighter and more rhythmic than Bai Chen's. Who could it be? Guanjun was also thinking. He has refined features. Doesn't look like a murderous demon. The demonic sect disciples are too good at disguising themselves. After a brief thought, he decided to knock Heyin out and abduct him. Unexpectedly, his hand chop was easily dodged by Heyin, while Guanjun was in shock. Heyun's eyes shot open. Then he quickly reversed his grip and firmly controlled Guanjun. As he exerted force with both hands, Guanjun was immediately slammed hard onto the stone bed. Seizing the opportunity, Heyin decisively activated his know-it-all talent to check the identity of the intruder. Instantly, a prompt box appeared before him. Guanjun, 45 years old, Taishu Pavilion disciple, martial uncle of Ding Ning and Bai Chun. Level 41. Talent, Taishu kick. Purpose, revenge, and the Changming soul. Now Yin was completely speechless. Taishu Pavilion, Ding Ning's home sect, a dignified orthodox sect. Why do they always do such sneaky things? I guess he's here for revenge for Ding Ning. Is he about to make a move? Only level 41. Might as well just kill him directly. In a foreign land, if someone wants to kill me, I can only kill them. With this in mind, Yin asked tentatively someone from the Taishu Pavilion, "How would you know I live here?" Guanjun was instantly shocked. "How do you know who I am?" Yin said coldly, "I not only know you, I can even find out who your ancestors were for 18 generations. I'm asking you a question. Answer me." Suppressed by Yun's immense power and unable to fight back, Guanjun had to answer truthfully. "I am who I am. I am Guanjun of the Taishu Pavilion. I have come this time to avenge my martial niece." Seeing that what he said matched the information from Know-It-All, Yun immediately let go. Then he said from a commanding position, "You're quite forthright. I have no quarrel with you. If you leave on your own now, I will spare your life." However, Guanjun tactlessly stated, "You killed Ding Ning. As her martial uncle, I will not let this go." But Yin retorted, "Who told you I killed her? She was clearly the one who attacked first. I was defending myself. But since you even know that I live here, you should also understand that I am a member of the 9 Nether Demon Palace. Even if I did kill Ding Ning, it would only be to eliminate a traitor from a sect. She had other motives for killing me, but if I were to kill her, it couldn't be considered a personal grudge. If you have the guts, go to the 9 Nether Demon Palace. Coming after me, isn't that just bullying the weak and fearing the strong? What kind of orthodox sect is that? What kind of carrying out justice for heaven is that?" At first listen, these words really made sense. Guanjun was completely unable to refute them, but he was still relentless. "What are you talking about? You're the one who killed her." But Yin cut him off directly. "Just because you say I killed her, does that mean I did? Where's the proof?" However, Guanjun stated that he believed the person who told him this. Now Yin was completely speechless. "Uncle, you're not young anymore. Do you just believe whatever anyone tells you? The burden of proof lies with the accuser. If you can't find evidence, can you kill me with a clear conscience? No, wait. At your level, you can't kill me anyway." Guanjun was so infuriated he gritted his teeth. "You are so shameless." Yin didn't want to waste any more time. "I have no grudge against you. The door is over there. See yourself out. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite." Since Yin had already used Know-It-All to check Tian Shui, and he wasn't a spy, then who on earth told this old guy that he had killed Ding Ning? There must be another spy. Just how many undercover agents are in the 9 Nether Demon Palace? Unexpectedly, Guanjun showed no intention of leaving. Yin was also very helpless. Killing Ding Ning was an act of last resort. If I kill another person from an orthodox sect, my resume will look too ugly. With this in mind, Yin cupped his hands in a gesture. "I can see that you're not a wicked person. One day, we will have a proper duel." Guanjun could also see that Yin had an extraordinary aura. He spoke and acted with great refinement, not like someone from the demonic path. Could he be part of an advanced team sent by some righteous sect to infiltrate the 9 Nether Demon Palace as an undercover agent? Afterward, Guanjun decided not to linger. He stated that he would definitely get to the bottom of this matter and that they would meet again another day. With that, he turned and left the place decisively. At the same time, the system prompted that he had obtained another serendipity fragment. This surprised Yin. He hadn't expected that being assassinated could bring such a good thing. Yin instantly regretted not getting hit by Guanjun's hand chop just now. Perhaps he could have gotten one more fragment. But soon, Yin felt something was strange. Speaking of which, is Tian Shui really not coming tonight? Little did he know that Tian Shui was currently hiding in a noodle shop, eating noodles. He was very curious about the current situation in the courtyard. When he saw Guanjun leave, he couldn't help but feel a little surprised. He came out so quickly. Did he succeed? But on second thought, something fell off. His martial uncle looked completely unscathed. Could it be that Yin wasn't as strong as he thought? However, just as he was about to enter the courtyard to check, he actually stopped in his tracks. His sixth sense told him that something was wrong inside. To be on the safe side, he decisively turned and chose to leave. Meanwhile, Guanjun quickly returned to the Taishu Pavilion, but the scene before him struck him like a lightning bolt. The disciples outside the hall had all been slaughtered by some demon. The woman, tormented to the point of physical and mental exhaustion by the vicious flower drunken moon curse combined with the drunken spring breeze, now recklessly went to the Taishu Pavilion all by herself. and she summoned their sect master for a face-to-face confrontation. Just now, Yin had let go of the righteous Taoist Guanjun, who had come to assassinate him. This made Bai Chun, who was stirring up trouble, very confused. But his sixth sense told him the courtyard was extremely dangerous, so he cautiously decided to leave first. Meanwhile, after Guanjun returned to the Taishu Pavilion, he found that all the sect's disciples had been beaten to the ground. It turned out that not long ago, a crimson ray of light had suddenly descended from the sky, landing in the Taishu Pavilion. Seeing this, the disciples immediately exclaimed in alarm, "What is that? On guard!" And the newcomer was none other than Xia Yin, who had reverted to her demoness form. The purpose of her trip was precisely to take revenge for the drunken spring breeze. After getting a clear look at the newcomer, those disciples immediately shouted, "This is the Taishu Pavilion. Who goes there? Take one more step, and don't blame us for being merciless." However, Xia Yin ignored his warning and walked directly towards the inner hall. Seeing this, the surrounding disciples couldn't help but look at each other. After exchanging a look of confirmation, the disciples immediately grabbed their respective weapons, frantically circulated their techniques, and charged towards Xia Yin to surround and kill her. However, facing the siege of these small fries, Xia Yin merely glanced at them, and a majestic burst of true qi erupted from her body. With the eruption of true qi, those small fries were immediately sent flying. Just then, 3 sect elders suddenly walked out of the inner hall. Discovering their fellow sect members who had been sent flying, their expressions changed drastically. What happened here? Xia Yin, however, pressed forward step by step, saying, "The Taishu Pavilion is considered a century-old righteous sect. Why are your methods so underhanded?" Feeling the killing intent emanating from Xia Yin, 2 of the men immediately had second thoughts. Should we retreat first? This is not good. After walking into the main hall, Xia Yin slowly spoke. "Where's your sect master? Tell her to come out and see me." Hearing this, the blue-haired man quickly turned, indicating he would go get the sect master. After all, the newcomer was hostile and looked difficult to deal with. Unexpectedly, one of the women grabbed him. "Elder Kong, there's no need to trouble the sect master with such a small matter." Seeing this, Xia Yan's brow twitched slightly. "It seems I'll have to beat them up first before they'll listen." The man in the lead had no choice but to brace himself and speak. "The sect master is busy with official duties. The 3 of us will take you on." But unexpectedly, in just one exchange, the 3 of them were easily knocked down by Xia Yin. Now, even Xia Yin was speechless. "Don't tell me you're the elders of the Taishu Pavilion. You actually are. I've been in seclusion for years. You've all gotten used to a quiet life. Your skills have grown rusty. You 3, who's going to get the sect master?" As soon as she finished speaking, the 3 of them immediately looked at each other, then got up quickly in unison and dashed towards the inner hall. As for Xia Yan's actions, they also caused the outer disciples to start whispering among themselves. Soon, Elder Kong found the sect master and desperately begged her to save them. Seeing this, the sect master quickly asked, "You 2 as well? What happened?" The female elder stammered, "A young lady has come to the front hall. She wants to see you." Although the sect master was very confused, she still got up and walked towards the front hall. The few elders, however, had no intention of following. If they went, they would surely get beaten again. But they were also curious about Xia Yan's origins. Just then, the sect master suddenly turned and asked, "What are you all standing there for? Follow me to the front hall." But when the few of them saw Xia Yin sitting on the main seat, the sect master was instantly enraged. "Who dares to disturb the peace of my Taishu Pavilion?" Xia Yin, looking down from her high position, said, "When asking for someone's name, you should first state your own. You have no manners." The sect master immediately drew her sword. "A mere little girl dares to speak so arrogantly. Did no one at home teach you any manners?" Xia Yin retorted with an accusation. "The flower-drunken moon curse, plus the drunken spring breeze. Since when did the Taishu Pavilion start using such despicable methods? Did no one in your sect teach you how to be a decent person?" Hearing this, the sect master's heart skipped a beat. How does she know about this? Seeing the other party remain silent, Xia Yin immediately stood up and spoke slowly. "I've been in seclusion all these years. The world outside has really changed. Your questioning is so sluggish, not like in the old days. It truly disappoints me. The scene changes. Guanjun sees that all the sect's disciples have been taken down. He hurriedly found one with lighter injuries and asked what happened in the sect. The small fry answered with difficulty. A very strong woman came. She took the sect master and the elders to the backyard. Now Guanjun completely lost his composure. Could it be that even the sect master was defeated? The demoness, who had been deeply tormented by the strange poison, has now finally turned the tables. This time, she wants the righteous immortal to experience her pain as well. If there's no one to provide relief when it acts up, it will be like poisonous ants gnawing at the bones, a fate worse than death. Just now, Xia Yin, having reverted to her demoness form, easily took down the entire Taishu pavilion. Then she spoke from her high position. I didn't expect you to be weaker than the last, but your bones are quite hard. I can admire that much. But that said, hand over the antidote. I still have to go home and sleep. Unexpectedly, the sect master spoke helplessly. It's not that I won't hand it over. It's that we never developed an antidote at all. The flower-drunken moon curse, combined with the drunken spring breeze, should have killed you on its first onset. Who knew a demoness like you would actually survive? For such a fatal combination, why would we develop an antidote? Xia Yin felt a headache coming on. That line again. I'm tired of hearing it. Meanwhile, Guanjun, who had just returned to the sect, was secretly shocked by the scene. Even the sect master has fallen. This person is too terrifying. Just then, Xia Yin suddenly stood up from her chair with a light smile. Since there's no antidote, let me ask you something else. Planting spies, was it your doing? The sect master immediately gritted her teeth and answered, not me. It was the previous sect master's century-long plan. Xia Yin said with great interest, besides Ding Ning, who else is there? Unexpectedly, the sect master replied with extraordinary backbone, kill me or torture me, do as you please. I won't say a single word. Seeing her so tough, a smile immediately appeared on Xia Yin's face. Then she slowly raised her hand and began to gather her internal true qi. A glint of cold light suddenly condensed in her hand. Then, without giving the sect master time to react, she forcefully stuffed it into her mouth. Now, the sect master finally lost her composure. What did you just feed me? Xia Yin smiled lightly. Just a goo worm. Don't worry. It's not fatal, but it will make you just like me. When it acts up, you will desperately crave relief. Without relief, it will be like poisonous ants gnawing at your bones, a fate worse than death. Hearing this, the sect master's face immediately turned pale with fright. However, Xia Yin spoke again. The one planted in me has no antidote, but yours. I can activate it at any time, and I can also stop it at any time. Powerless to resist, the sect master could only curse angrily. The righteous sects will sooner or later exterminate you demonic cultists and bury you in the yellow earth. To this, Xia Yin just sneered. Can you curse any more harshly? Your words are like a lark song. They're very pleasant to my ears. Hearing this, the sect master's heart skipped a beat. This demoness is simply a pervert. Anything I say is like punching cotton. Seeing the sect master fall silent, Xia Yin couldn't help but feel a little bored. Since you can't produce the antidote, I can't be bothered to say any more tonight. After half an incense stick's time, the goo worm in sect master Tianxin's body will act up on schedule. When it acts up, think carefully about whether there's an antidote. Hearing this, Tianxin instantly panicked. Cold sweat began to pour uncontrollably. Then she hurriedly signaled to the female elder beside her. Ziqing, you must lock the door tight for me. No one is allowed in. When it acts up, no one is to come near. But Xia Yin paid no more attention to Tianxin and the others, walking out of the sect without looking back. But she hadn't gone far before she sensed someone seemed to be hiding in the bushes. She immediately chuckled. This Taishu pavilion. There are quite a few little animals who love to eavesdrop. Hearing this, Guanjun was immediately shocked. Did she see me? I was holding my breath. But Xia Yin didn't plan to waste any more time here. Before long, Xia Yin returned to the small courtyard and switched her appearance back to the white-haired lowly. Unexpectedly, Yin was already waiting at the door. Seeing Xia Yin, he couldn't help but complain, someone just came to kill me. He said he was Ding Ning's martial uncle and wanted to avenge her. By the way, didn't you say you were going to sleep? Why are you coming back from outside? Seeing that her cover was about to be blown, Xia Yin hurriedly made something up. I couldn't sleep, so I just went out for a walk. He didn't overthink it. He directly took her hand and said seriously, for your safety, you must sleep in my room tonight. Don't just stand there. Who knows if that guy will bring reinforcements? It's too dangerous for you to be alone. Hearing this, Xia Yin couldn't help but mutter to herself, bring reinforcements? He probably won't be able to. He immediately noticed. Little Wu Shan, what did you just say? Xia Yin hurriedly smiled and said it was nothing, then quickly changed the subject. Brother Hiyun, how are we going to sleep tonight? Hiyun, however, took out his bedding on his own. Same old rule. I'll sleep on the floor, you sleep on the bed. With your big brother here, sleep peacefully. No one will be able to harm a single hair on your head. Unexpectedly, Xia Yan suddenly hinted, isn't the floor too hard? How about? Hiyun, who was making his bed on the floor, immediately perked up upon hearing this. Xia Yin thought Hiyun understood her meaning and couldn't help but lower her head shyly. Unexpectedly, Hiyun said to himself, you're right. The floor is indeed quite hard. I'll go get 2 more quilts to pad it. The woman, one of the 10 great sect masters of the righteous path, was now suffering a cruel revenge from the demoness. Even though she used pain to restore her sanity, she was still engulfed by that endless feeling of emptiness. She experienced the bone-gnawing pain of being unable to die. Just now, to protect Xia Yin, Hiyun decided to make a bed on the floor at her room. But Xia Yin hinted that the floor was too hard and she wouldn't sleep well at night. Unexpectedly, the clueless Hiyun said he would just pad it with 2 more quilts. Seeing Hiyun's complete lack of interest in her, Xia Yin couldn't help but complain to herself, he's one way with my demoness form, and another way with my child form. Wait, am I getting jealous of myself? Damn it. But Hiyun didn't know Xia Yan's thoughts and continued to make his bed on the floor. As soon as he lay down, he said he was going to sleep. Xia Yin couldn't help but probe, Brother Hiyun, is there anyone you like? Unexpectedly, Hiyun answered without a second thought that there wasn't. Seeing Hiyun answer so decisively, Xia Yin immediately became unsettled. There isn't? Hiyun scratched his head and said helplessly, I don't think so. I see you as a little sister, so I'll tell you the truth. There is someone I have a good impression of now, but we rarely communicate. It's mostly physical interaction. It's quite mentally taxing to try and read her mind from those actions. And I also don't know what that person thinks of me. It seems she only sees me as a tool. She comes and goes without a trace. She disappears every time it's over, before we can even get familiar with each other. Hearing this, Xia Yin quickly pressed, just a good impression. Aren't you curious who she is? Hiyun shook his head lightly. If I wanted to know, I do have a way to find out, but I don't want to use that method on her. With someone you have a good impression of, it's more interesting to explore slowly. When you like someone, you'll understand. It's getting late. Let's sleep. Hearing this, Xia Yin was certain that Hiyun only saw her as a little sister for now. After all, she could only go to him whenever the drunken spring breeze acted up. In order to recover sooner, Xia Yin now had to get her hands on the antidote first. This was the best course of action. Meanwhile, at the Taishu Pavilion, the female elder locked sect master Tianxin's door tightly. Then she signaled to the disciples, the sect master has been cursed with a goo by the demoness. It's about to act up. Guard the door tightly for me. Don't let even a single mosquito fly in. At this time, Tianxin was also very anxious, but there was nothing she could do. After looking at the time, Tianxin knew she didn't have much time left before it acted up. Sure enough, Tianxin soon noticed something was wrong with her body. Her whole face flushed red in an instant. Even with a mind as strong as hers, she couldn't help but let out a wail. Hearing the sound, the female elder couldn't help but press against the window and mutter, has it started already? The impact of the goo worm's onset was too strong, but Tianxin still gritted her teeth, wanting to endure it. After all, she was the sect master of the Taishu Pavilion, one of the 10 great righteous sections. How can I be controlled by the demoness evil arts? Man can conquer nature. Although her thoughts were noble, the discomfort from her body still made her unable to stop rolling and rubbing herself. Then she felt a wet sensation on her leg. Thinking the goo worm was making her bleed, she quickly reached out to investigate. But after seeing the liquid on her hand, she was stunned. What is this? Before she could figure it out, the goo worm began to erupt with an even stronger impact, causing her to let out a more tragic wail than before. Even the disciples guarding outside couldn't help but blush. After all, the screams were too loud. With no other choice, Tianxin had to quickly bite her palm, letting the pain clear her mind. But the feeling of emptiness from within her body made her desperately want to be filled. Now she finally understood the bone-gnawing suffering Xia Yin had spoken of. She couldn't help but grit her teeth and mutter this feeling. How much longer must I endure it? Early the next morning, Xia Yin woke up early and came outside to stretch. But she seemed to realize she had forgotten something. Speaking of last night, did I forget something? Just then, Guanjun, along with the sect's female elder, suddenly broke down the courtyard gate and rushed in. Seeing this, Xia Yin immediately erupted with true qi and said coldly, "You dare to break down my door?" Guanjun directly took a stance and shouted, "Demoness, stop the goo worm in the sect master's body immediately." Hearing this, Hien rushed out the door to protect Xia Yin. "You too. You came uninvited and scared my little sister." Xia Yin immediately thought, "Oh no, I subconsciously released my aura just now. Will he notice?" Fortunately, Hien only had eyes for Guanjun and the other. "Old fellow, are these the reinforcements you brought? I won't be merciful this time." The demoness finally wanted to confess her true identity to the man. It was because the man's cultivation level could now detect the aura she emitted. It turned out that not long ago, after placing the goo on the righteous sect master, Xia Yin had forgotten about it until the other party's elders came looking for her. As a demoness, she had subconsciously unleashed her aura. Unexpectedly, Hien happened to walk out of the room and sternly accused them of scaring his little sister. Seeing Guanjun arrive at his residence with reinforcements, Hien sneered with disdain, "Old fellow, are these the reinforcements you brought? Why did you find someone even weaker than you? 1 + 1 is less than 2. Can't you even do the math?" Then he activated his know-it-all talent to check the woman's information. Luo Ziqing, Taishu Pavilion Finance Elder, level 40. Talent, floor fan. Guanjun, however, accused them in a flustered manner. "You killed my Taishu Pavilion disciples." But Ian explained seriously they were spies from the 9 Nether Demon Palace. Guanjun couldn't sit still anymore. "You also framed our sect master." Feeling wronged, he wanted to say something, but seeing that they were insistent it was him, he said nonchalantly, Fine. Let's just say it was me. What did you do to me? I really can't be bothered to explain." And Xia Yin was also enraged. She decisively sent a voice transmission to Guanjun say, "One more word. And I'll make sure the Taishu Pavilion doesn't make it to lunch." Now the two of them didn't know what to do. What should we do? The demoness is threatening us. This demoness has hidden her identity from this man. Why don't we use this as leverage? Obviously, Xia Yin also saw through Luo Ziqing's thoughts. "If you let him know my identity, I can annihilate the Taishu Pavilion in a matter of seconds. Don't believe me? Feel free to try." The two did not doubt Xia Yan's words in the slightest. After all, they had personally experienced the difference in strength. With no other choice, the two of them turned and fled, leaving behind a harsh parting shot. "You two, just you wait." Seeing this, Hien gave a helpless smile. "It's fine. They won't dare to come looking for me for a while." However, Xia Yin knew that with Yun's current cultivation level, it was impossible for him not to have felt the aura she had just emitted. But he enacted as usual. "Little Wu Shan, go to the kitchen and help me bring over a winter melon. We're having winter melon stew with meatballs today." Although Hien didn't say it out loud, he knew in his heart. Little Wu Shan's aura was retracted very quickly just now. But it was definitely far stronger than my own. Xia Yin was also full of conflict at this moment. If he has already noticed, but doesn't expose it, should I continue acting? Then, Xia Yin seemed to have made some kind of decision. She suddenly turned and called out to Hien. Because she had to be sneaky every time she transformed, she did indeed find it troublesome. It would be better to take this opportunity to confess. Seeing Xia Yan's expression, Hien also guessed that she was probably planning to confess to him. Thinking about it, that day was indeed too much of a coincidence. However, just as Xia Yin had finally figured out her words and was about to confess, Yubo suddenly kicked open the gate and said cheerfully, "I'm back. My luck was good. I ran into a merchant caravan from Tianluo City and have already bought the supplies we need." Seeing this, Xia Yin could only sigh helplessly. "In that case, I'll find another chance to talk about it. However, letting him be suspicious of my identity might make some things more interesting." And Yubo finally noticed that the atmosphere of the scene was a bit delicate. It seemed he had returned at the wrong time. but he didn't overthink it. He helped Master move this crate of goods into the kitchen and store it properly. As Ian passed by Xia Yin, he couldn't help but think to himself, she wanted to confess just now, right? Should I use know-it-all on her? But Ian quickly rejected this idea. Forget it. I'll wait a bit longer. With this in mind, Ian deftly carried the crate into the kitchen. Afterward, Yubo hurriedly asked the two what was going on. Xia Yin sighed helplessly. He's realized I'm not an ordinary girl. The people from the Taishu Pavilion were causing a ruckus just now, and I accidentally let slip. Make a trip to the Taishu Pavilion and bring their sect master, Tianxin, to me. At this, Yubo was immediately stunned. How am I supposed to bring her? She's the master of sect, after all. Xia Yin sneered. I put a goo on her. I forgot to finish the job last night. The goo worm in her body is still acting up. It'll be as easy as flipping your hand to bring her back. After you bring her back, lock her in the secret room under your room first. By the way, have you found Wu Xia Shuang? Yubo immediately nodded. Found her. I've also explained the situation to her. She said she'll return to the sect within 3 days and await your arrival. Only then did Xia Yin show a satisfied smile. To find out his little sister's true identity, the man finally decided to use his talent to check her personal information. Unexpectedly, the woman beat him to it and proactively confessed everything. Just now, in order to cure the drunken spring breeze, Xia Yin decisively signaled Yubo to go to the Taishu Pavilion and capture Tianxin, who was afflicted by the goo worm. Because Tianxin was deeply afflicted by the goo poison, she was easily brought back to the dungeon by Yubo. But Tianxin had no intention of surrendering. Demonic cult thieves. I won't let you go even if I become a ghost. Yubo said grumpily. To be able to sit in the sect master's chair, your spirit is indeed impressive. Let me give you a piece of advice. Save some energy. There's only a chance for a turnaround if you're alive. Eat a few bites of food in a bit. The leader will be here soon. Unexpectedly, Tianxin suddenly screamed, "Don't come over." Hearing this, Yubo immediately stopped in his tracks. It was this old man's mistake. I forgot the goo worm in your body is still active. Tianxin immediately gritted her teeth. Despicable and shameless. Yubo burst out laughing. But when you dealt with my leader back then, didn't you also use similar methods? How come when it's your turn, it becomes despicable and shameless? If you had handed over the cure earlier, you wouldn't have had to suffer like this. However, Tianxin stubbornly said, we were acting on behalf of heaven to enforce justice. Now Yubo was completely enraged. In this world, there are governments and laws. Those who are registered are called righteous sects, and those who aren't are called demonic cults. But we pay every cent of the taxes we owe. What right do you have to act on behalf of heaven? Mind your own business. Stop meddling in other people's affairs. Then everyone can live in peace. In all these years, our 9 Nether Demon Palace has never planted spies in your sect. If we're really talking about who has lower methods, it doesn't seem to be us. Knowing she was in the wrong, Tianxin became angry out of embarrassment. Silver-tongued, it's common knowledge that most of your demonic sex techniques are sinister and vicious. To this, Yubo just sneered. Whether our techniques are sinister or not, we practice them behind closed doors. We don't go out and harm others. You're overstepping your bounds. And Xia Yin, who had just entered, couldn't help but tease upon hearing them. You two seem to be having a lively chat. Yubo hurriedly explained, Sect Master Tianxin is lecturing me on great principles. Unexpectedly, Tianxin suddenly said coldly, still say you don't harm outsiders? The murder case in Tianluo City a few days ago, wasn't that the work of your demonic cult? Xia Yin didn't answer. She couldn't be bothered with nonsense anymore. She just snapped her fingers lightly. The goo worm in Tianxin's body immediately stopped its agitation. The disappearance of the bone-gnawing pain in her body finally gave Tianxin a moment to breathe. Xia Yin, however, sat directly in front of Tianxin with a grim expression and said, it's not easy to cultivate to level 50. You must have suffered a lot. If you want to keep this cultivation, you'd better think hard about how to cure the poison in my body. Don't tell me there's no cure. The flower-drunken moon curse, combined with the drunken spring breeze, was created by your Taishu Pavilion. You could think of mixing them, but you couldn't think of a cure? Do you think I will believe that? And I've heard that your heart cultivation technique requires you to remain as pure as jade. As soon as she finished speaking, Tianxin's expression changed drastically. What are you trying to do? Seeing Tianxin's terrified look, the corner of Xia Yan's mouth lifted. I've recently taken a liking to a genius and want to cultivate him well. If I let him. And Tianxin, unable to bear it any longer, suddenly shrieked, Shut up, Xia Yin immediately walked up to her and spoke again. You just said we were sinister and vicious. Honestly, you're not wrong. Tianqin immediately turned her head away defiantly and cursed. You will suffer heavenly retribution. Xia Yin burst out laughing. Looking down on her, she said nonchalantly, heavenly retribution? What's that? Meanwhile, Yin was in the kitchen, lighting a fire to cook. But at this moment, his mind was full of questions. Why is little Wushan being so secretive? Could it be that she's also an undercover agent planted by the righteous sex? But that's too many undercover agents. She looks many years younger than me, but her aura is far greater than mine. I only have my current realm because of the system, but she achieved this on her own. She can be called a genius among geniuses. After pondering endlessly without an answer, Yun finally made up his mind. No, I have to use know-it-all to identify her, to avoid any further complications. And Xia Yin had just walked out of the dungeon, preparing to go back to her room to rest. But suddenly, she felt that the drunken spring breeze might act up again soon. However, she was very conflicted, not knowing whether to transform into Wu Xia Yin and go find Yun, or just go in as little Wu Shan and confess. Coincidentally, at this moment, Yin walked out of the kitchen and ran into the conflicted Xia Yin. And Yin immediately took the opportunity to use his know-it-all talent to identify little Wu Shan. Little Wu Shan, original name, Wu Xia Yin, leader of the 9 Nether Demon Palace. Level 90. Status, afflicted with a strange poison. And at the same time, Xia Yin spoke to him. Yun, the strange poison planted by the righteous path acted up in the woman again. However, the man had become suspicious of her true identity. To break the barrier between them, after much deliberation, Xia Yin finally took the initiative to confess to Yun that she was the one, the demoness who had come to him for detoxification time and time again. And Yin also learned through his know-it-all talent that little Wu Shan was actually the leader of the 9 Nether Demon Palace. Now Yin was completely dumbfounded. Little Wu Shan is the leader? No, wait. Aren't you the senior sister from the Valley of 10,000 Insects? Wait. Seeing Yun's dazed, mumbling appearance, Xia Yin immediately interrupted. Cut the crap. My poison is starting to act up again. Hurry up and help me. However, Yin subconsciously took a few steps back and said that his brain was now in a state of chaos. He couldn't help but frantically scratch his head with a look of utter confusion. You are little Wu Shan. No, wait. Little Wu Shan is you. I don't even know what I'm saying. I've always treated you as a little sister. You're clearly 2 different people. How could I? However, Xia Yin directly interrupted his mumbling. I am little Wu Shan, and I am also that demoness. I'm in a lot of pain right now. I need you to help me alleviate the poison. Understand? Seeing that Xia Yin was suffering from the poison's torment so much so that she couldn't even walk steadily, Yin had no choice but to pick her up. Only then did Xia Yin satisfiedly signal for him to go to the woodshed next to them. Along the way, Yin didn't say a word, just silently and numbly followed Xia Yin's instructions. Then, Yin carefully placed Xia Yin on the prepared pile of straw. However, before Yin could gather his thoughts, Xia Yin urged him, come here, quick. Do you need me to do it myself? Seeing Yin remain silent, Xia Yin spoke again. Stop spacing out. No matter which form, isn't it still me? But Yin was still conflicted. The shock of this is too great. My brain can't process it. Hearing this, Xia Yin immediately smiled. In that case, I'll help you clear your head. Although it was clearly the same person in front of him, Yin didn't know why he always felt like he was committing a crime. Immediately after, Xia Yin resumed her leader's dominant demeanor. She suddenly turned and pushed Yin down. Then she looked down on him with a faint smile. Right now, the Taishu Pavilion won't give me the antidote, so you'll have to get used to me coming to you for relief like this in the future. With that, Xia Yin said no more and began to seriously suppress the poison in her body. And during this process of suppressing the poison, her appearance suddenly changed. Before long, Xia Yin's appearance underwent a drastic change. Her body and looks returned to their original form. This battle lasted until the latter half of the night. After a bitter struggle, Xia Yin finally succeeded in suppressing the poison in her body. But she then posed a soul-searching question to Yin. Yin, between me and little Wu Shan, who do you like more? Hearing this, Yin immediately retorted grumpily, I've had enough shocks for one night. I thought you were the senior sister from the Valley of 10,000 Insects. It turns out you're the leader, and then the leader is also little Wu Shan. Please don't ask for now. I want some peace and quiet. But Xia Yin teased, get used to me and little Wushan. In the future, it will only happen more, not less. However, Hiyun was roaring internally. I told little Wushan I'd take her to join the righteous sects and complained about the demonic cult. The actual leader heard everything. I feel like dying right now. And Xiaoyan, seeing Hiyun remain silent, immediately raised an eyebrow. I'm talking to you, and you dare to space out? A helpless Hiyun could only brush her hand away. Going through fire and water for the leader is my duty. The next second, I discovered the entire woodshed was filled with spirit power orbs. This was clearly a super gift package airdropped by the system. Immediately after, Hiyun unhesitatingly kicked Xiaoyan out. No matter who you are, I'll serve you from now on. You go out first. I need to do some mental preparation. Before Xiaoyan could react, Hiyun quickly shut the door, and Hiyun turned around and began to frantically sweep the ground, instantly gaining a huge harvest. Then, the system prompted, "Congratulations, young Master Yun, for collecting 5,000 spiritual power points at once. You are rewarded with a serendipity fragment. For having a frank and open encounter with Wu Xiaoyan, you are rewarded with a serendipity fragment. Current serendipity fragments. 5. Synthesize talent." Hiyun pressed the synthesize button without hesitation. Immediately after, the system delivered good news. "Congratulations, young Master Yun, for obtaining the talent, Self-Destruct. It can ignore the opponent's realm and perish together with the target." However, after seeing this talent, Hiyun's face darkened. But he now has 2 lives, so this talent can be used once. But the effect is simply too ruthless. I mistakenly thought the demonic cult leader only saw me as a cauldron. Therefore, I was dissatisfied with her. Little did I know, she actually wanted me to be her slave. It turned out that just now, after Bai Chan gave up the idea of ambushing Hiyun, he returned to Taishu Pavilion. However, he was very puzzled at this moment. "Martial uncle, did something happen in the sect?" On my way here, I saw all the Martial brothers looking dejected. Guan Jun said in a heavy tone, "There's something you don't know. The sect master has been kidnapped." As soon as he said this, Bai Chun instantly showed a shocked expression. Guan Jun could only sigh helplessly. "It was done by those people from the demonic cult. Your master has already gone to Great South Mountain overnight to ask the Grand Sect Master to come out." Bai Chun didn't expect it to alarm the Grand Sect Master. He felt that these people must be crazy. He's just a somewhat capable kitchen hand, only 19 years old. Guan Jun also had a headache now. He didn't know why that demoness wanted to hide her identity in front of Yun, but he still indicated, "Things are now out of control. You don't have to go back to the demonic cult. I will restore your identity." Bai Chun could only helplessly indicate that he understood, but he was very annoyed. Doesn't this mean his plan is ruined? Logically, they should have both been severely injured, and he would then reap the benefits. Right now, he had no other choice but to find another opportunity to make a move. At the same time, a female elder of the sect rushed all the way and finally arrived at Great South Mountain. After seeing the huge cave entrance not far away, the female elder immediately dismounted quickly. Then, she knelt on the ground with an anxious face, shouting hoarsely, "Grand Sect Master, help." Meanwhile, after helping Xia Yin suppress the poison in her body, Hiyun was taken by her to the dungeon in the courtyard. And Xia Yin suddenly spoke. "This is the one who cursed and poisoned me, the esteemed righteous sect's Taishu Pavilion sect master, Tianxin." Seeing Xia Yin bluntly state her identity in front of Hiyun, Tianxin was instantly flustered. "What are you trying to do? I would rather die than submit. You brat, if you dare to touch me, I'll make sure your lineage is severed, leaving you with no descendants. You can give it a try." Hearing this, Xia Yin revealed a satisfied smile. "What do you think I want to do?" The Nine Nether Demon Palace has a branch called the Joyful Pavilion. The disciples practice dual cultivation techniques, building divine powers together through dual cultivation. This disciple of mine is still lacking a few techniques. Teaching him personally will take some time. Sect Master Tianxin is here to provide timely help. But Tianxin replied firmly, "If he dares to touch me, I will immediately bite my tongue and kill myself." To this, Xiaoyan just scoffed disdainfully. "If I activate the goo worm in your belly, let alone biting your tongue, you won't even be able to speak a clear sentence." The originally bewildered Hiyun finally understood what was going on. Hiyun, being used as a tool, was very unhappy about this. He turned around and said he had other things to do. Yubo also keenly noticed Hiyun's gloomy expression. Although Xia Yin also noticed He Yun was angry, she didn't chase after him. After leaving the dungeon, He Yun returned to his room. He couldn't help but lie on the bed and mutter to himself, "It seems I really am just a cauldron to her, making me dual cultivate with Tianxin, absorb her cultivation, and then transfer it to her. Even though that's the truth, why am I so upset, right? She's the cult leader, and I'm just from the kitchen. I was only dragged into this by chance in the beginning. I'm overthinking it. People say a couple for a day shares 100 nights of grace. We spent more than just days and nights together, truly worthy of someone from the demonic cult. A cold-blooded animal, devoid of emotion." Just as He Yun's thoughts were in turmoil, Xia Yin suddenly patted his back. "Brother He Yun, are you angry?" Hearing her voice, He Yun immediately asked with confusion, "Weren't you interrogating Tianxin in the secret room?" Xia Yin then gave a faint smile. "I saw you leave with a dark face, so naturally, I had to come and ask." However, He Yun said sullenly, "What's there to ask? I'm going to sleep." Unexpectedly, Xia Yin had no intention of leaving. It's still so early. He Yun gritted his teeth and said firmly, "Do whatever you want. I can't resist anyway." Xia Yin explained on her own. "When you killed Ding Ning, I thought you were very suited for the demonic cult. Now I've delivered a beauty to you, yet you act like a gentleman. Why?" To this, He Yun gritted his teeth in frustration. "The goo in my body makes it so I can't be with anyone but you. You haven't forgotten, have you?" Unexpectedly, Xia Yin said softly, "Now, you could be a man in front of me. I allow it. I'm not having an episode. You just soothe me. It won't relapse so quickly. What I said in the dungeon just now was only to scare Tianxin. You and my cauldron alone. How could I let someone else benefit? As long as I'm not tired of you, you can only be used by me. I must make the best use of things, because there's no better cauldron to use than you in this world. Are you willing to become my slave?" Taishu Pavilion's second-in-command suddenly appears, wanting to rescue someone from the cult leader. But the shocking secret she revealed shattered her junior sister's worldview. Just now, He Yun and Xia Yin finally cleared up their misunderstanding. However, unexpectedly, a bloody light suddenly descended from the sky. He Yun, who was washing vegetables, noticed it immediately, the arrival of an uninvited guest. The visitor was a beautiful figure in red. As soon as the woman landed, she slowly spoke to He Yun. "I am Tian Kan of Taishu Pavilion." And Tianxin, who was tied to a pillar, quickly cried out, "Senior sister." Tian Kan couldn't help but frown. "I'll come and take my junior sister Tianxin back." He Yun helplessly spread his hands. "I can't make the decision on this matter." Hearing this, Tian Kan immediately said indifferently, "Then please have the person who can make the decision come out." Just then, Xia Yin walked out of the room with Yibo. "Oh my, the Grand Sect Master graces us with her presence. The small courtyard is honored." Clearly, Xia Yin was extremely wary of this person. On the surface, she looks no older than 30, but is actually over 50. To be able to extend her life and build power through martial arts in this era is a rare talent. Tian Kan also appeared extremely calm. "My master divined for my junior sister long ago. She is fated to face a tribulation this very year, this very month. Since you have taught my junior sister a lesson, she has fulfilled her tribulation. If you don't hand her over, I'll have to take her by force." Seeing this, He Yun hurriedly spoke up to explain. "We did kidnap her, but we didn't teach her a lesson. Don't make baseless accusations." Hearing this, Tian Kan immediately snorted coldly. "You didn't? Ziqing told me that you planted a goo worm in my junior sister. When it acts up, she will be filled with endless desire, only wanting to cultivate with someone. Isn't this your way of teaching her a lesson?" He Yun could only sigh helplessly. "We were just giving her a taste of her own medicine, just scaring her a bit." But Tian Kan clearly didn't believe this explanation. "Could it be that you also divined this and deliberately chose not to bully my junior sister? Worthy of the demonic cult, to be so sinister as to ruin someone's opportunity. Do you know? I sent an undercover agent to the 9 Nether Demon Palace to find a chance to poison Wu Xiaoyan. All of this planning was for my junior sister. If my junior sister doesn't pass this tribulation, her cultivation cannot advance to the next level. You demons, why didn't you humiliate her?" As soon as she said this, He Yun's worldview was turned upside down. The people from the righteous sect are so crazy. Even Tianxin was shocked beyond words. "Senior sister, what are you saying?" Seeing things develop in such an interesting way, Xia Yin immediately undid the restraints on Tianxin. And Tianxin immediately ran to Tian Kan and questioned her. "Senior sister, are you crazy? What nonsense are you spouting? However, Tian Can said with great righteousness, everything Master and I planned was for you. If it weren't for these sinister and venomous people from the demonic cult, you would have broken through level 60 soon. This was your only chance. I painstakingly planned this for years. This shocked Tianxin greatly. Wait, didn't you painstakingly plan this to eradicate the demonic cult? Tianqin glanced at her coldly. Eradicating the demonic cult is not a task for a single day. Now Tianxin was thoroughly enraged. To help me break through, you planned for people to humiliate me? Xiaoyan didn't expect to be the one who got schemed against as a side effect. I've been in seclusion for years. Has the outside world become this crazy? There's a day even I can't keep up with the times. So, you're the one who truly cursed and poisoned me? Tianqin nodded and admitted it very straightforwardly. Xiaoyan didn't plan to waste any more words with her. That's perfect. I don't care what you've planned. Now I need you to give me the antidote. However, Tianqin erupted with spiritual energy and coldly refused. In your dreams, since I've already succeeded, how could I give up? Seeing this, Xiaoyan immediately gestured. Giving you a chance was useless. Go. The way things were developing gave Xiaoyan a headache. What kind of weirdos have I been encountering? Seeing Yu Bo step forward, Tianqin immediately shouted, "You who ruined my junior sister's cultivation, today I will make you pay with blood." Taishu's sword. With that, the spiritual energy around her began to churn rapidly, shooting out several blood-red long swords straight at Yu Bo. However, facing this fierce attack, Yu Bo didn't move an inch. His single hand flipped rapidly. After breaking the spiritual sword's attack, the ruthless hand caught it between his fingers. Seeing that the long-range attack was ineffective, Tianqin immediately charged towards Yu Bo. After pulling out a divine weapon, Tianqin immediately shouted, "Old scoundrel, take this." The two began a clash in close combat, fighting inextricably. Just then, a red spiritual power bead suddenly rolled out. This discovery made He-Yun's pupils shrink. Holy crap, when the big shots fight, the little guy picks up the scraps. Good fight. After fighting for a while, Tianqin realized she couldn't take down Yu Bo at all. So she turned her head and questioned, "Tianxin, since you're free, why don't you help me?" But Tianxin's worldview had already collapsed. What seeing through heavenly secrets? What fated tribulation? You even hoped I would be humiliated. Is this still the righteous sect? Hearing this, Xiaoyan immediately taunted, "That's right. Righteous and demonic, what's the difference?" Tianqin was now completely desperate. "Tianxin, quick, lend me a hand. With us sisters united, we can slay these 3 demons today." Unexpectedly, Yu Bo flashed in front of her. "You can still get distracted? You're really a good seedling for cultivation. Why not join my 9 Nether Demon Palace? The Demon Palace will help you reach the peak sooner." Tianqin instinctively stomped her foot, wanting to create distance. However, Yu Bo predicted her move 1 step ahead. "Anyway, your junior sister is also here." The 2 sisters, all neat and tidy. "Isn't that good?" Xiaoyan, at the side, had long grown impatient. "Yu Bo, hurry up. Let's wrap this up early." Hearing this, Yu Bo's expression immediately changed. He was clearly tired of this cat-and-mouse game. The woman finally found the mastermind who poisoned her. It was actually done by her own sister, whom she hadn't seen in a long time. Just now, Tianqin, who came to demand the person, was easily taken down by Yu Bo. Being imprisoned together with her junior sister made her very resentful. Acting so audaciously in Tianluo City, you will sooner or later be crusaded against by the Righteous Path Alliance. Xiaoyan was very nonchalant about this. A crusade? The righteous sect always needs to find something to do to appear righteous. Indulging my little sister's hobby is also my way of making it up to her as her older sister. Hearing this, Tianqin frowned. "I don't understand what you're saying. Kill me or spare me. Do as you please." But Xiaoyan shook her head. "You two are both good materials for cultivation. It would be a pity to kill you. Our sect has a branch called the Joyful Pavilion. I can send you there for further training. I have high hopes for you. I'll pull some strings and make you the 1st and 2nd senior sisters directly. By the way, the combined use of Drunken Spring Breeze and the Flower Drunken Moon Curse, was it taught to you by Wu Xiaoshuang of the 9 Heavens Immortal Sect?" Hearing this, Tianqin immediately replied angrily, "How dare you say the Frosty Heaven Fairy's name directly? Audacious." Xiaoyan immediately grinned. "She's my sister. If I don't call her by name, what should I call her?" As soon as she said this, Tianxin and Tianqin were both dumbfounded. They never expected the Frosty Heaven Fairy to actually have a sister in the demonic cult. Xiaoyan then slowly explained, "My name is Wu Xiaoyan. Is it that hard to connect the dots? Answer me. Was it her idea? Ian at the side was also shocked by this news. Damn, I definitely won't be able to get a position in the righteous sect now. Can I be considered half a brother-in-law to the venerable Xia Shuang? However, after a moment of silence, Tianqin indicated she had no comment. Seeing this, Xia Yin couldn't be bothered to waste any more words with them. She turned around and gestured. Tell Shinyik to come get them. Arrange 2 strong male disciples for my new grand disciples to cultivate well with. With complex feelings, Xia Yin then went outside to bask in the sun. But she couldn't help but recall some past events with her sister. Ian sat at the side, thinking to himself, knowing her sister plotted against her, she must be feeling terrible. Righteous and demonic at odds, sisters turned against each other. There must be some earth-shattering story behind this. Should I say something to comfort her? Just as Yin was about to say something, Xia Yin suddenly spoke before he could. How? Is the Changming soul? Yin was stunned. It seems to have sprouted. No, that's not right. It can't really be considered sprouting. This surprised Xia Yin. What did you do to it to cause its chi to change? Ian had to tell the truth. I practiced the Changming true scripture that acting sect master Fong Yin gave me. The true chi in my body was replaced by Changming true chi. I just fed it with Changming true chi. That's all. Then, Ian got up and walked towards a room. He took out the Changming soul and handed it to Xia Yin to inspect. But the Changming true chi that Xia Yin infused had no reaction at all. However, the true chi infused by Yin caused the Changming soul to fluctuate. This strange scene left Xia Yin very puzzled. After thinking for a while, the completely clueless Xia Yin had to give up. You keep the Changming soul safe for now. Infuse it with Changming true chi daily. The day after tomorrow, I will go see Wu Xiaoshuang. Yin frowned. You're poisoned right now. Are you confident you can beat her? However, Xia Yin teased, if I lose, won't you have a chance to leave me? Maybe you can even join the righteous sect, just as you wish. Now Yin was a little embarrassed. Didn't you say before that you wanted me to be your servant? Hearing this, Xia Yin immediately teased, what? Can't bear to part with me? Yin was very stubborn. Why don't you take out the goo worm in my body? Otherwise, even if I leave you, I can only be a eunuch. Hearing this, Xia Yin laughed. You wish. Such a handy toy like you. I'm not done with you yet. How could I bear to let you go? I am tired. Come and serve me for my afternoon nap. Meanwhile, a noodle stall outside the small courtyard. The female elder was very uneasy. The Grand Sect Master has been inside for an hour. Besides some noise earlier, why is there no reaction? Should I go in and see? If something happened to the Grand Sect Master, what's the use of me going in? If the Grand Sect Master has already solved the problem, then there's no point in me going in either. In summary, I don't need to go in. A day later, those elders fell silent in unison. Because the Grand Sect Master did not come out of that small courtyard. The female elder said helplessly, it turns out the Grand Sect Master was also kidnapped. The other elders were now completely in despair. Guanjun was the first to slam the table and stand up. This is a blatant provocation by the demonic cult against the Righteous Path. We must report this to the Righteous Path Alliance. If we don't crusade against the demonic cult, it will only fuel their arrogance. And Bai Chun, who was standing outside the door, suddenly revealed a smug smile. Fight. If you don't fight. She looks like she's 18, but is 100 years old, because she isn't human at all. However, when I wanted to ask for the truth, she demanded that I defeat her in a duel before she would tell me. It turned out that just now, Xia Yin arrived as scheduled and found her good sister, Wu Xiaoshuang. Xia Yin was the first to question her. You really are a good sister to me, instructing others to poison me. However, Xiaoshuang gave a cold smile. I just don't want you to remain obstinately blind. Master's body has long perished and his soul scattered. To revive a sliver of him, you practice the 9 nether soul devouring scripture. How much blood is on your hands? The war between gods and demons has long been forgotten. In this era, the people live in peace, no longer slaughtered by the demon race. Isn't that good? If you awaken Master, who knows what consequences it will lead to? But Xia Yin shouted, didn't you love Master very much? Didn't you once risk your life for him when he fell? But Xiaoshuang remained indifferent. That battle didn't even leave behind a legend. The dead do not exist. When we woke up again, countless years had passed. As for Master, my feelings have long since dulled. Ask yourself, do you still remember Master's face? As soon as she said this, the originally aggressive Xia Yin suddenly froze. Seeing this, Xiaoshuang finally revealed a smile. You know full well that the Demon Lord's primordial spirit is mixed into the Changming soul. Even if we find Master's remnant soul, and I don't have the power to separate and suppress the demon lord. Once he returns, even our combined strength will be no match for him. After a moment of silence, Xiaoyan no longer planned to waste words with her. Understood. There's no need to discuss this further. Give me the antidote. I will leave Tianluo City immediately. However, Xiaoshuang just sipped her tea. After a long while, she finally spoke slowly. Sister, to stop you from acting recklessly, I have no other choice. I can't possibly give you the antidote. Give up on that idea. Hearing this, Xia Yan's eyes narrowed. You mean, you want to be my enemy? But Xiaoshuang shook her head. I don't wish to have a conflict with you. Seeing that she couldn't get the antidote, Xiaoyan immediately stood up and snorted coldly. In that case, there's nothing more to say between us. You'll bear the consequences. After speaking, she left Taishu Pavilion directly. Meanwhile, Hiyun and Yubo were waiting patiently at the noodle stall outside the sect. Seeing that Xiaoyan had been inside for a long time, Hiyun couldn't help but gossip. Are the cult leader and her sister not on good terms? Also, by the way, aren't you curious why the cult leader can live so long? Ordinary people living to 100 is already the limit. But Yubo revealed a shocking truth. The cult leader, she is not human. This is a semi-public secret in the Nine Nether Demon Palace. But only a few people know. Now, Hiyun was completely dumbfounded. When I encountered the night wolf in the forest and collected the spiritual power bead, I was puzzled. Isn't this a pure martial arts world? Why is everything so illogical? Just then, Yubo suddenly looked towards Taishu Pavilion and said the cult leader was out. Seeing Xiaoyan walk out with a blank expression, Hiyun hurriedly asked, how did it go? With a venerable Xiaoshuang hand over the antidote, but Xiaoyan's annoyed expression said it all. We're going back to the Nine Nether Demon Palace. Meanwhile, at the Nine Nether Demon Palace, Shen Yik suddenly received a carrier pigeon message from Xiaoyan. The Taishu Pavilion Sect Master and Grand Sect Master are both great talents. Be sure to teach them well. After calming his shocked heart, Shen Yik hurriedly asked, is there still no news on Tian Shui's whereabouts? The female disciple shook her head. No, the last time was when she argued with Hiyun at the market. No news since then. This gave Shen Yik a headache. After all, the cult leader had told him to arrange a few male disciples to help those two geniuses cultivate well. 10 days later, after a long journey, Hiyun finally returned to the Nine Nether Demon Palace. He threw himself onto the bed. My own bed is still the most comfortable to sleep in. Then he opened his information panel. Level 60. Currency, 14,000 copper profound stones. Remaining points, 51 million. Then he recalled what you both said. Xiaoyan is not. Changming Soul, Demon Lord, Spiritual Power Beads. This world seems to have had its path of immortal cultivation severed, with only martial arts remaining. But spiritual power still exists. Otherwise, where would the spiritual power beads come from? This thing is deeply related to the perfected Changming. Could it be that his soul is hidden in this seed? Little Wu Shan wants to activate its transformation. Does she want to bring back the perfected Changming? What exactly is the relationship between Little Wu Shan and the perfected Changming? Looks like I'll have to use know-it-all on her. Could it be that Little Wu Shan and the perfected Changming had a thing? Making me use Changming True Qi to revive your old flame? I might as well nip this hope in the bud right now. Just as Hiyun was about to make a move, Xiaoyan's voice suddenly came. What are you doing? And Hiyun said with a look of dissatisfaction, I want to have a frank and open talk with you. This made Xiaoyan very confused. A frank and open talk? I haven't had an episode yet. Hearing this, Hiyun was exasperated. Is your mind filled with nothing but dueling? Tell me, is the soul of the perfected Changming hidden in this Changming soul? Are you trying to revive him? Xiaoyan immediately walked up to him and asked seriously, do you want to know the answer? If you can satisfy me, I will tell you.